Okay, we have a lot of videos to watch today, Chatty. Lots of things going on here. Lots of things happening, lots of things being discovered. I don't know what it's gonna be. This video was not approved on Reddit. I just found it and I wanted to watch it. So it could be really bad. But I wanted to learn what it's like to be a geisha. I want to know what it's like to be a geisha, Chatty. Maybe in another life, I could be a geisha. What do you think? Do you think I have what it takes to be a geisha? Because like their whole thing was like entertaining people. Maybe in another life, I'm a cute geisha girl. What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? You're white? Don't geishas wear white face powder? They call it oshiroi. I'm just skipping a step. Bastards.
You're 7 years old in 18th century Kyoto when a strange woman visits your family home. She examines your face like you're
Not
a
the
prize
strange
melon
woman.
at the market, turns your hands over, checks your ears. Weird flex, but okay. Next thing you know, your parents are accepting money. You're being whisked away in a fancy palanquin. Congratulations. You've been hand-selected for the most exclusive girls' club in Japan. Too bad.
Oh my god, this is exactly how VTubers work, by the way. I still remember when Garagura herself came to my house when I was 7 years old, and she investigated me, and then she stamped me permanently. No, literally, I have scars.
No one asked if you wanted to join. First night, and you're already missing home when the door slides open. In walks the most stunning creature you've ever seen. White face, red lips, hair styled higher than your family's entire house.
Speaking of red lips, I even have that covered right now because I ate a cupcake yesterday. I had a cupcake, I know, big girl eating cupcakes. And I fucking ate one and it had red icing. And like the food dye was so fucking potent that my lips, they're still dyed red. And like my thumb, the side of my thumb is fucking dyed red from where it just barely touched the icing when I picked it up, which is crazy. What? That should be illegal. They put fucking red 40 in that shit.
House. She smells like flowers and moves like
flowers.
Water. A real-life geisha. You're starstruck until she notices you staring. Fetch my tea, you little rat. Dream meet reality. Day one and you're already learning the pecking order.
They're bitches?
You rank somewhere.
No fucking way. This is just like VTubers. They're all bitches behind the scenes. They're like, bring me my Gamer Soaps powder drink.
Between the house cat and
It's happened
yesterday's
to me.
rice. While other 7-year-olds play with dolls, you're learning how to kneel for hours without your legs falling off.
Ouchie.
Fun childhood, right? The house mother corrects you when you call the women geisha. In Kyoto, we are geiko. Tokyo has geisha.
Geiko.
Learn the difference or scrub floors forever. Geography
Damn.
lesson complete. 4 months in and you
They took
mastered
that
the
shit
fine art
seriously.
of walking silent.
Excuse me. In Japan, we say VTuber, okay? Not B-tuber, like those disgusting Westerners.
Breathing invisibly and disappearing instantly. You've been smacked with the fan 17 times for various crimes like existing too loudly and blinking incorrectly.
Wait, this is...
One evening, the house
Wait, what? That's just what it's like to be a woman.
mother orders you to serve
This
tea
isn't
to an
geisha
important
training.
guest. Your hands shake so hard, you're basically creating waves in the teacup. Don't spill, don't spill. You manage to set it down without a disaster. Then, without thinking, you turn the cup so its design faces the guest. Exactly like you've seen the geiko do.
That's a great
The
cup.
house mother raises an eyebrow. The senior geiko actually looks at you. Not through you, but at you. The girl has potential, she says. 3
Potential.
words. That's it. But suddenly, you're floating. Someone noticed. Someone approved. For the first time, you're not just a servant, but a
Is anyone else getting pissed off that he said that was 3 words? The girl has potential? That's fucking 4 words.
student of something ancient and exclusive. You still sleep on a threadbare futon in the corner, though. Let's not get carried away with the optimism. 3 years in,
As
and
you
your
should.
back has permanently curved into the perfect bowing shape.
What?
Evolution has nothing on geisha training. Morning routine, wake before the sun. Stretch your legs until they scream. Practice walking with a book on your head. Then 2 books. Then add a cup of water. Spill a drop, start over. Your neck muscles could now support a small build.
Wait, Chatty, would I gain immense seductive power if I trained to walk with a book on my head 24/7? Would that actually make me walk gracefully? Or would it just make me walk with good balance?
Afternoons are for shamisen practice. 3 hours of plucking strings with your fingertips until they bleed, then callus,
Ow!
then bleed again. Other girls your age are chasing boys. You're chasing perfect.
Wait, that's kind of crazy though. Wouldn't that scar their hands, which is the opposite of what they want?
pitch, and losing fingernails in the process. The music teacher smacks your hand with a bamboo
Fingernails.
stick. She's 80 years old but has the aim of an archer. You're basically playing musical dodgeball with your fingers as the ball. Dinner comes with a side of etiquette lessons. 37 different ways to pour sake. 23 ways to compliment
How are
a
there that
man's
many ways?
business
There's like
success
2.
without actually knowing what his business does. 15
Wait, I could use this. Wait, I need this. I need this for chatty. I need this for chatty because sometimes chat will just say the most vague shit ever and they'll be like, I got a new job. Looking forward to being able to support the stream more. And I'm just like, what the fuck do you do, man? You gotta tell me.
acceptable conversation topics and 300 forbidden ones. Quiz tomorrow. By 13, you've memorized every kimono pattern in the house. You can identify a geiko's rank,
Every
specialty,
kimono
and
pattern.
even personality from her obi knot alone. Useless skills everywhere
Really?
else in the world. Essential currency in yours. Then comes the day. The house mother calls all 4 shikomi to the main room. 4 girls
Shikomi?
enter. 3 will remain servants. 1 will begin formal maiko training. Your heart pounds so hard you're sure everyone can see her kimono moving. Then she looks at you. This one, she knows how to
This
watch
one!
and listen. She'll begin training next month. You made the cut. Now,
She's been
the
chosen.
real work begins. The
Exactly
next
how
few years
VTubers
are a
work.
blur of advanced
This was
training.
me. No, this was me when I was applying. This was me when I applied to Cilia to get my model, you know? Like, cause she chose me. She got so many applications, but she chose me, Chatty. She chose me because she saw something in me. Real. She said I'm the geisha of her heart.
Dance
I need
is
the
so
cut.
complex, your feet develop their own vocabulary. Music lessons where missing a single note earns you a rap on the knuckles. By 15, you're finally ready for your debut. The day before your Miss Hidashi, you're ordered to strip down and soak in a wooden
Oh.
tub. 3 senior geiko inspect
Wait,
every
this is just a metaphor for hot tub streams. This is a metaphor for hot tub streams. Literally VTuber shit.
inch of your body like you're a racehorse. Too thin, one mutters. Good neck, says another. Small chest.
Good neck.
Easier for the kimono, adds the third. You're officially reduced to a collection of parts, not a person. Transformation day arrives. The makeup artist approaches with
Literally
a pot
me
of white
again.
paint. Don't move.
When you get a first time chatter, they're just like, nice tits. Is it
Don't
pink?
speak. Don't breathe too hard.
You've been
She applies a
reduced to
base
nothing
layer that
but
feels like
animated
wet
parts.
cement on your face. Your skin screams beneath it. Beauty is pain, and apparently also partial
So true.
suffocation. The hairdresser has the muscle definition of a sumo wrestler. She tugs, pulls, and molds your hair into a structure that could withstand a typhoon. Hundreds of pins dig into your scalp, each one
Ow.
a tiny dagger with its own personality.
Ow!
You named the most painful one Stabby McStabberson. Now
Okay.
for the kimono. Not just any kimono. A furisode with sleeves so long they practically drag on the floor. Price tag? More than your entire IKEA makes in 3 months. Final touches.
Wait,
6-inch
then-
wooden sandals that transform walking into an
I don't think they
extreme
spend that much
balancing
money on
act.
it.
You're now a walking, talking national treasure. Unlike the senior geiko who wear wigs, your elaborate hairstyle is your actual hair, which explains why you'll sleep on that wooden neck block for the next few years.
It's
Beauty is
real,
pain.
not a
Sleep is
wig.
optional. Also, you kind of need to pee, but that's not happening until the evening. Your onesan
Yeah, me on
guides
stream,
you
by
to
the way,
your
I just
first
hold
tea
it.
house. Remember, she was
Mayonnaise-san! This is like when you have senpai and kohai. And yeah, I need an Onesan. I have an emoto. I don't know. Does anyone want to be my Onesan? I'm taking applications.
You're not selling your body. You're selling access to a fantasy. The fantasy that beauty and art still matter in this world. First customer interaction. A wealthy merchant. Sake reddened face. You pour his drink exactly as practiced. He compliments your innocent beauty. Your onesan laughs at exactly the right moment, drawing his attention away. Lesson 1. Redirection is your best defense. A handsome young patron requests you specifically at his
That's crazy. That's crazy. This is like, oh my god. Okay, I get it. So this is like VTubers without moderators. Like this is VTubers, but like they're each other's moderator.
business gathering.
They can't
Your
just
heart does a
ban
little
people.
flip,
They have to
betraying your
like
professional
self-moderate the
Your
stream.
onesan notices immediately. After the party, her advice is blunt. Hearts are terrible investments in our business. Admiration is currency. Attachment is debt. Cool, but she's not wrong. At 17, you're given your first solo
Wait,
dance
should I feel
performance
this
at a major
parasocial?
festival.
Am
Your
I bad
stomach
geisha?
performs its own interpretive dance routine of pure terror. The shamisen begins. Your fan becomes an extension of your arm. Your body tells a story of seasons changing, love found and lost. The final note hangs in the air. Silence.
These are prostitutes,
Then,
Lucy.
thunderous applause. A famous
Yeah, I'm failing to see the difference. Hello?
poet approaches. For a moment, he says, I forgot you were human. You became the wind, the rain, the very spirit of the dance. For the first time, you understand. You're not just learning the art. You are becoming the art itself. 2 years as a Maiko, and you've mastered the art of the double life. Public you, a floating vision of grace, who never sweats, never tires, never needs to pee.
Just
Private
like
you,
me.
collapse
I
on
never
your
pee.
futon at 3 a.m.
Or shit.
Makeup still half on. Too exhausted to
Or
care that
burp.
your hairpins are stabbing your dreams. Your Okia keeps a ledger thicker than your arms. Every silk sock, every hair ornament, every shamisen lesson, all tracked down to the last coin. Your debt resembles the national treasury. You once made the mistake of asking how long until you're debt-free. The house mother laughed so hard she nearly choked on her tea. You develop tricks for surviving back-to-back appointments. Sake cup, barely touch your lips to it, and then subtly empty it in a plant when no one's looking. The ficus in the corner of your favorite tea house is perpetually drunk. You swear it started singing after midnight. You perfect the art of the subtle compliment that makes a man feel 10 feet tall without realizing you've manipulated his ego. Your reputation grows. The one with the knowing eyes, they call it.
The knowing
It's
eyes.
exhausting. Like being a therapist in fantastic clothes with better pay and worse hours. You start noticing distinct versions of yourself. Tea house you, dance performance you, festival you, private training you, different
Private
masks
training.
for different moments. Sometimes you wonder which one is actually real. Maybe they all are, maybe none. 3 years in and your debt still looks insurmountable. Then one night, a famous actor visits from the capital.
That's a lot for
At
back
evening's
then.
end, he leaves payments so generous, the house mother's eyes actually widen. She never blinks
my
at money.
God.
Never. A week later,
The oiler?
she slides a wooden box across the table. Inside, an exquisite Kanzashi hair ornament of tortoiseshell and gold. Not loaned from the Okia. Yours to keep. You've earned this,
dropped
she
the
says
100
simply.
gifts.
Your first personal possession. A tiny thing to some, but to you, the first tangible evidence that someday you might actually own your life again. Your Erike ceremony marks your transition from Maiko to full Geiko. The red collar turns white. The elaborate hairpieces get simplified. Your style becomes subtler, more refined. Less look at me, more you wish you could be me.
You
Financial
wish
reality
you could
check,
be
you're
me.
still in debt.
Look at
But now
these.
you
You wish
control
you
more
had
of your
them.
earnings. The house mother takes a smaller cut. You negotiate your own appointments. Suddenly, you're not just an artist. You're a business. A business wrapped in silk with perfect posture. But still, you learn to wield silence like a weapon. A raised eyebrow, a thoughtful pause, the slight tilt of your head. These
She's
tiny
so
gestures
feminine.
carry more power than hour-long speeches. You could probably start or prevent a war with the right look at the right moment to the right official. With a reliable Dana, you can afford to be selective. No more entertaining every drunk merchant who requests you. No more laughing at
the
jokes that
meme, it's the
deserve
meme.
silence. You cultivate a circle of
It's the
patrons who
meme, they did
appreciate
the meme.
art, conversation, and boundaries. Revolutionary concept. Your schedule follows the rhythm of Japan's seasons. Busiest during spring cherry blossoms and fall foliage, when wealthy patrons host viewing parties. Your kimono changes with the seasons too, from winter's heavy silk to summer's lightweight weave. At 25, the house mother assigns you your first
Chatty,
Maiko
I want to
to
go see a
mentor.
geisha.
She's all elbows and anxiety, this girl. Reminds you of someone. You watch her fumble through her first tea ceremony and find yourself
She has
saying,
become the
again,
senpai.
in the exact tone
The
your teacher used
One-san.
with you. The cycle continues. At 28, you reach a milestone. Your Okia debt is paid in full. The house mother presents you with your cleared account book and a small cup of sake. You are now working for your future, not your past, she says.
Oh my
You
God.
sip the sake, and it tastes like possibility. 30 hits different in geisha years. Your
30
knees
hits
crack
different?
during dance practice. Your back complains after hours of sitting perfectly straight. Your body keeps a ledger of debts
Au contraire, 30 is peak age for VTubing.
just like the Okia did, and it's starting to call them due. You adapt. Strategic scheduling of rest days. The perfect excuse to leave gatherings at exactly the right moment. So sorry I have a special appointment. Translation, my feet are killing me and I need to faceplant into my futon immediately. The perfect kneeling position that once felt as natural as breathing now sends shooting pains up your legs after an hour. You develop ingenious
Damn,
techniques
it's
for
over for
appearing
her. She fell
perfectly
off.
composed while actually shifting your weight every few minutes. It's like running a marathon while pretending to be a statue. You open a small, exclusive tea house with your savings, not an Okia. You don't want the responsibility of raising
Just
new
a
geisha,
chaya.
but a space where you control the atmosphere, the clientele, the experience. Your reputation draws the elite automatically. Your terms are non-negotiable. They come anyway. Some successful
Non-negotiable.
geiko before you chose
This is when they they graduate from the corpo and they become
To
indie.
marry patrons and retire. Others purchase their own IKEA, becoming businesswomen in a time when female entrepreneurs were practically unheard of. You're part of a rare tradition of women who could actually own property and run businesses. A famous artist asks to paint your portrait for a temple commission. When he reveals the finished work, you're startled to see yourself immortalized alongside images of ancient poetry, sumo, and imperial court traditions. You're no longer just practicing tradition, you've become part of it. At 40, you hear a tourist call you the last of a dying art. You smile politely while mentally dismissing their ignorance. Looking at your students, at the packed schedule of your tea house, at the continued demand for what only Geiko can provide, you know better. What began as an unexpected life sentence has transformed into a consciously chosen.
This is how it feels when people say that the VTubing boom is over and that VTubing is falling off. You sound fucking stupid. Do you know how stupid you sound? Do you know how baka you sound?
Path. One evening, sitting in your private room after the last client has left, you trace the faint laugh lines hidden beneath your white makeup. You think about the terrified 7-year-old who entered the IKEA all those years ago. At 40, tourists snap photos of you like you're an endangered species. Little do they know, even in modern Japan, young women still choose this path. Fewer than in your day, true, but the art continues.
It's called VTubing
You're
now!
not a relic, you're a link in an unbroken chain. We did all right, you whisper to her across time. In a world racing endlessly forward, you've become a living bridge to something timeless.
It's
And that's
wholesome.
worth every cracking knee, every early morning, and every perfect bow along the way.
Oh, wow. You know what? That one was really wholesome, but why does this one look so much worse? Why does this one look so much more shit? No, I shouldn't click it. No, I mustn't. No, I must. My hand. My hand. Oh no. My hand is. I can't control it. Oops. Oh gosh. Ooh, Sorgy. I'm so clumsy. I'm so clumsy. I'm Sorgy. Oh God. Oh no. Now my mouse isn't working anymore. I'm sorry.
Laying barefoot in the dirt outside your family's shack in Ming Dynasty, China. 1570.
That's crazy.
When a black lacquered carriage pulls up, a man in silk robes steps out, face like stone, eyes like a butcher scanning the meat aisle. He's here for
I look
you.
like that.
He doesn't ask. He inspects your teeth, your feet, your skin, like your livestock on sale.
Just a
Then
random
he tosses your
child?
father a sack of silver, and just like that, you're gone, sold. Not as
No
a bride,
negotiations,
not even
just
as a
have this.
servant, but as a concubine. Your mother's sobs fade as the cart rattles away, her face blurred by tears and dust. You're 12, barely old enough to braid your own hair, and now
It's time to play child support.
It's time to play child support because it's a game and
headed
she's
for the
fucking winning
Forbidden
it.
City. The air stinks of sweat and horse dung, and your stomach churns, not just from hunger, but from the rumors you've heard. Girls like you don't come back, ever. You arrive at a towering gate, red as blood, where eunuchs with cold eyes herd you like livestock. Stripped naked, you stand shivering as they poke and prod, teeth, skin, and feet. One girl
Not
sent
the
home for a
feet!
crooked nose. Another's kept because her feet are small enough to bind. Yeah,
Okay, well, if they're sending girls home because of crooked noses, then you could imagine that the guy who's inspecting these people needs to be fired. Because why did you bring a girl with a crooked nose anyway? What is he, fucking blind?
foot binding. They crush your
Waste of
bones into
resources.
lotus shape so you'll hobble prettily for the emperor. Sounds fun, right? Wrong. It's torture that'll
This
leave
is
you
such.
screaming
This is such
for
a
weeks.
fucking.
You pass
wow.
the inspection, barely. Now
This is
you're in the
whiplash.
harem, a maze of silk walls and whispered threats. Older concubines glare, their eyes sharp as knives. They're not your friends, they're your rivals, and they'd sell their own kids to keep their spot in the emperor's bed. Your first job? Serve tea to a senior consort who slaps you for pouring too slow. Your cheek stings, but crying's a luxury you can't afford. The rules are simple. Obey, charm, survive. Slip up and you're out of a
Super
job.
Mafia? Wait, is this what it's like to work for Niji-sanji?
Nope, you're dead. Maybe starved, maybe tortured, in the worst possible way. A girl next to you whispers about a concubine who spilled wine on a noble. She vanished. Rumors say she's buried under the palace floor. You're learning this fast. This isn't a palace. It's a battlefield, and you're armed with nothing but your face. A year has passed, and you're 13 now, trapped in the Forbidden City's inner court. A prison draped in silk. The walls shimmer with gold, but
Shimmer.
the air's thick with jasmine and fear. You limp on bound feet, each step a knife in your
That's
bones.
gotta be so
Because
fucking
beauty
painful,
means
bro.
Pain, and pain means you're still alive. Your days start before dawn, scrubbing floors for senior consorts who sneer like you're a roach in their rice. Your job? Make them
Mean
look good
girls
while
everywhere.
staying invisible. Pour tea too slow and a bamboo rod cracks your knuckles. Spill a drop and you're locked in a closet with no food for a day. Starvation's a great teacher, apparently. The Emperor's bed is the prize. And
Where's its
every
credentials?
girl
Does it even
here's
have a
playing
fucking
deadly
degree?
game to get there. You're taught to smile, bow, and flutter your fan like it's a weapon. But the real battlefield is the whispers.
I love China.
That
That's
girl with the jade
crazy.
hairpin, she spread a rumor you stole a noble's comb. Now you're scrubbing latrines
Did
while
Radon
she
go
bats
through this? Yeah. And he loved it. He did it all for Nicola. Just to get closer to that pussy. Just to catch a fucking sniff. A single fraction of a scent molecule entering his nostrils. He did it all for
her
that.
eyes at the Emperor. Another concubine, May, slips you a warning. Trust no one.
May, her
They'll
name's
drown you
May.
in silk to climb higher. She's not wrong. Last week, a girl was caught flirting with a guard. Eunuchs dragged her out, her screams fading into the moat. They say the carp ate well that night. Your big break comes when a senior consort picks you to serve at a banquet. You're dolled up in silk that costs more than your village, but it's a leash, not a reward. You pour wine for a noble, his leering grin sour with rice liquor, his hand grazing your wrist. Your skin crawls, but you can't flinch. The Emperor's mother, face scarred from stone, watches from her throne, her gaze a blade at your throat. One
That's
wrong
gotta be
move,
so unlucky. That's so fucking unlucky. That's right. That's like rolling a D1, a D0 if at all possible. Because if a guy just like, who's like a noble or something, puts his hands on you, but he's not the emperor, there's like nothing you can do about it because you're just a concubine and you can't defy a noble. But at the same time, if you get fucked by that guy, then that means that like the emperor's gonna be mad at you and you're gonna die. Like you die either way, you're dying!
tremble, a drop, a glance too bold, and you're not just dismissed, you're erased. Your
Yeah,
hands
should've
shake,
parried.
wine
Should've
sloshing
parried his
dangerously
hand.
close to the cup's rim. The noble chuckles,
At the risk
low
of
and
not
cruel,
learning how to
as
parry is
sweat
extremely
beads over
high,
your powdered
chatty.
face. You set the cup down, fan fluttering to hide your panic, and step back. Silence. The consort nods. Not useless, she growls. A
Oh.
lifeline in this viper's nest. Then
Harley
the
Quinn,
gong
thank you for the
sounds,
sub.
beat as a
Welcome. Blah
death
blah.
knell. The Emperor's coming tonight. Your pulse roars like a war drum, drowning out the banquet's clatter. If he chooses you, a son could lift you to consort status. If he doesn't,
Oh.
you're chaff for the next purge, like the hundreds starved last year. You're carried to his chamber on a palanquin, bound feet useless, silk curtains swaying like a shroud. The doors creak shut, sealing you in with a man whose whim is law. His shadow looms, eyes
No.
glinting like a predator's in the lamplight.
Emperor.
You kneel, heart choking your throat, fan forgotten. His voice is soft, but it's a blade wrapped in velvet. Please me, or you'll wish you hadn't. You force a smile, every nerve screaming, as he steps closer. Failure's not just shame, it's a one-way trip to the moat. You survive
The
run,
moat!
but the cost lingers in your trembling hands, your reflection a stranger's. By 15, you're a ghost who's learned the harem's code. Charm the emperor, sidestep the
Charm
consort's
top
daggers,
G! Wait, but chatty, this is literally me. This is literally my list. Charm top G, top C, chatty. Avoid consorts, other women. Don't be like that girl. Be a pick me, okay? So it's literally me. My itinerary for every single day.
and pray you don't end up like the girl who slipped from a balcony last month.
Ah, yeah,
Silk
she
scarf
slipped.
fluttering down like a
Ah, she was so
broken wing.
clumsy, man. She's always
Survival's
been
your
so
only
clumsy.
art, and you're painting it in blood. You're 16, and the Forbidden City's harem has carved you into something sharp, like a blade forged
Hi,
in fear.
Aura,
Your
welcome.
bound feet ache, your smile's a mask, and your eyes miss nothing. You've learned to dodge the consort's venomous glares and slip past their traps, but every day's a tightrope walk over a pit of snakes. The Emperor's noticed you, once. He called your name, and for a
Once.
fleeting moment, you felt like more than a ghost in silk. Now, you're pregnant. Jackpot,
It's ogre.
right? Wrong. A baby's
Wrong!
your ticket to consort status, but it's also a target on your back.
Oh.
That jade hairpin girl, now a consort herself, spreads a
Concubine,
rumor
then
you poisoned her
consort.
key. You didn't.
Naruhodo.
Truth's a luxury nobody cares about here. You're hauled before the Emperor's mother, her face cold as a tombstone. "Prove your loyalty," she hisses, "or join the ghosts under the palace." Your heart's
What the
a hammer
fuck?
in your
How am I
chest,
gonna do
but
that?
You bow, voice steady, and swear your innocence. A eunuch's whip hovers, ready to tear your skin if you flinch. By some miracle, a servant vouches for you. She saw you pour the tea clean. You're spared, but the message is clear. You're one lie away from a noose. You give birth to a son, and the palace buzzes like a kicked
Not the little dick!
Male heir could make you untouchable.
He didn't
but it
have to
paints a
do that. He
bullseye
really
on your
didn't have to
baby's
draw
tiny
that.
head. You cradle him in secret, whispering promises you can't keep, while rumors swirl of consorts slipping poison into cradles. Sleep's a stranger now. You jolt awake at every creak, expecting a knife. The
Did they
Emperor
have
summons you
cradles
again,
like that
and you're
back then?
carried to his chamber, silk curtains swallowing you like a grave. You charm him, fan fluttering, voice
How else
soft
would you
as
know it's a
moon.
boy? My
He
ears.
smiles. You're named a low-ranking consort. Congratulations, you
low-ranking
climbed one rung in
consort.
hell. But the higher you rise, the harder they push to make you fall. May, your only ally, warns you of a plot.
8 out of 10 consort kids died, by the way, totally accidentally. You know a lot about this, don't you? Yeah, I'm sure it was an accident. You know, childbirth back then was really difficult.
The Jade
You know,
Hairpin consort
just
bribed
happens
a eunuch
sometimes.
to frame you for treason. Treason means execution. Not just you, but your son. You act fast, slipping a gold hairpin to a loyal maid who exposes the plot.
Oh.
The Jade Hairpin girl's dragged away, her screams echoing through the palace. You win
You
this
become a
one, but
monster.
at what cost?
You become a
Your hands shake
monster.
as you hold your son, knowing every victory makes you more enemies. By 18, you're a survivor, a chess piece who's learned the board. But the game never ends. A new girl arrives, younger, prettier, her eyes hungry for your spot.
No,
The
that
Emperor's
whore.
gaze shifts. Your son's your only shield.
No!
But even that's
This
not enough
whore!
when a plague sweeps the palace. You hear whispers of a purge. Too many concubines. Not enough rice. Last time, hundreds starved. You clutch your son
Oh.
tighter, praying you're not next. Survival's your crown, but it's forged in blood, and it's heavier than you ever imagined. You're 22. Your son now a toddling target in a palace that chews up hope and spits out bones. You've dodged knives, both steel and whispered. But the air's heavier now, thick with plague and panic. The Emperor's sick, the court's a mess.
Of course he is.
And whispers of a purge slither through the silk curtains. Your name's on a list. You feel it in your gut. Then it happens. A rival consort, that viper with the pearl earrings,
That
accuses
bitch.
you of cursing the Emperor's health.
What
Witchcraft.
the fuck?
The word's a death sentence. You're dragged to a stone courtyard.
That's so
lean
random.
legs glinting off the
That's so random. Imagine being the bitch who just wants another girl gone and you're like, well, how are you gonna do it? You need a reason. It's like, no, I fucking don't. I'm just gonna say she was doing witchcraft and shit.
executioner's blade. Your son's screams echo from the nursery as you're forced to your knees, bound feet throbbing like a second heartbeat. The Emperor's
My
mother
son!
looms, her voice ice. Confess.
Heartballs, thank
or
you
your
for the
boy
10
joins
gift
you in
subs.
birth. Your throat's
I hope those
dry
gift
as
subs can
ash, but you spit out a denial,
protect the sun.
praying your loyal maid can pull strings. The blade hovers, cold air kissing your neck. Then a shout. Your maid bursts in, clutching a stolen
My
letter,
maid!
proving the pearl earring consort's lie. She bribed a eunuch to plant herbs in your room, framing you. The Emperor's mother pauses, eyes narrowing. The blade drops, not on you, but on your accuser. Her screams cut short, blood
That
pooling like spilled ink.
slut.
You're spared, but your son's not safe. You smuggle him to a distant cousin, a risky move that could cost you everything.
Oh my
Plague
god.
worsens, and you're coughing now, lungs burning like they're full of embers. The palace doctors don't bother with concubines. By 25, your body's breaking, bound feet infected, joints aching from years
Ow.
of kneeling, lungs scarred from disease. You're no longer the Emperor's favorite. A new girl's taking your place, her laughter echoing
No.
where yours once did. But you've left a mark. Your son's alive, hidden, maybe free. You've trained younger girls, teaching them to survive the harem's claws, passing on your hard-won tricks. As you lie on a threadbare mat, fever eating you alive, the palace roars on. Silk rustling, knives sharpening. You were never just a concubine.
You just know the Emperor gave her fucking syphilis.
You were a spark in a dynasty's flame. A shadow that outwitted death until it came knocking. Your last breath slips out, but your son carries your fight. A flicker of hope in a world that tried to crush you. So
That's
you
fucked.
outwitted the harem.
It's literally the most likely scenario. Okay, so you're telling me the emperor gets deathly sick, and then she also gets sick and dies after. You know syphilis was deadly back then, right? Like it was a real thing that would fucking kill you? Girly 2G, hi, welcome. Hello. It's probably from toxic perfume or makeup. I feel like the bound feet would kill you before, like, the fucking makeup would, you know? No such thing as penicillin, true. No such thing as penicillin, no such thing as a cure for syphilis back then. It wasn't real. It would just, like, get you. It got you good. Hydration. The bound feet is some horse shit? Yeah, it is. I didn't know... Well, I still don't know the details of how they do it. But I've heard it's, like, super fucked up. At least the ending has some hope. When Chad is like, the ending has hope, and it's about how her son might not be dead, and how she's dying. So at least she doesn't have to be a concubine anymore. You're right! That's so hopeful! I'm filled with hope! Chatty, I think I would choose to be a geisha over a concubine. Not for any real reason, just, it just feels right. It just feels better to me. Maybe it's because I'm a weeaboo, you know? It might be because I'm a huge fucking weeb. Bro took its 9th life, what?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to How Many Cats Can Hold Me? One cat. One cat.
Banned for animal abuse. Banned for animal abuse. Damn, that cat was weak. He folded instantly. Instantly folded, bro. That's crazy. Hacking. Xia Ming is a registered doctor whose parents didn't know she was competing in MMA. In 2024, she earned a UFC contract after delivering a stunning knockout. Her opponent was carried out on a stretcher and rushed to the hospital. That's a solid business structure. If I don't have patients, I will simply create them. If I don't have clients, I will make them myself, with my own fucking hands if I have to. Kinda based, honestly. This is like the weirdest thing somebody has submitted to my Reddit for reaction, bro. Kinda crazy. A mind reader's worst matchup.
You know what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, but it's pointless. Everybody here is thinking about useless shit.
Why do they call it the poop deck?
Man, I'm about to then drink a full gallon of milk.
Bro, somebody in here.
Ew. And then drink a full gallon of milk? Ew.
Okay, just throw out some buzzwords. Don't make it suspicious.
All right.
Social security number.
What are you doing?
It's working. 885-852-949-222. I've done it. Yes.
What if they don't remember it right?
What was that?
What was what?
Oh, it's just another leg. 1 second.
What?
Bank account information.
Stop doing that.
Why did you say that? Please, sir, can I have some more?
Are you sure about that?
Stop.
What?
Sure.
What is going on?
Something's wrong. I can't.
What is happening in there? Are you caught?
If your name starts with an M, this is for you.
Oh my god!
What's happening?
That's me!
What was I gonna do with that? Wait, what did I say?
It's ADHD! He has ADHD!
It's me!
I can't.
Excuse me. You good?
Ew. Chatty, are you telling me I'm immune to mind reading? You think so? Maybe it's real. Maybe I can escape it easy. I don't know why people submitted me a bunch of creepy videos today, but you did. So I guess we have no choice. We're gonna be watching them. Trapped in IKEA. What the fuck? How is there an SCP where you're trapped in IKEA? That's not an SCP. That's a phenomenon. That's not a creature. This SCP is real. Fucking delusional. Hydration.
On March 15th, 2011, Martin Sims was wandering down the streets of Carson, California. His clothes were
Okay.
ragged, he was filthy, and gibbering like a madman with a full beard and long, unkempt hair. His body
without the
was
beard.
covered in scars, but he showed no signs of malnutrition. What made Martin's sudden appearance so remarkable? He'd been missing for 3 years. When he was interviewed by police, they asked him where he'd been all this time. They
IKEA?
couldn't believe his answer. He'd been trapped
IKEA?
in an IKEA since 2008, but this was no ordinary IKEA. This was a dangerous anomaly that would come to be known as SCP-3008.
Not all
Martin's
SCPs are
strange
living
answers
creatures. What the fuck is an SCP then? Is it just any random creepy thing?
His interview were laughed off by his interviewing officer.
SCP. The washer that eats one of your socks every time you do your laundry until you no longer have a matching pair. That's an SCP?
Officers who assumed he was either crazy or under the influence of something, but they caught the attention of an SCP Foundation field agent embedded in
Purgatory,
the precinct.
welcome.
The report was
How is
passed up
that
the
an
chain to a
SCP?
local site director who approved a detachment of Foundation field operatives to look into Martin's case. While he was reluctant to lead the Foundation agents back to the offending IKEA, the Foundation can be extremely persuasive. His screams of, "Please, I'm begging you, don't take me
Please,
back,
help!"
don't make me go back," were noted but ultimately disregarded. When the SCP Foundation had triangulated the position of SCP-3008, which was indeed an active IKEA, the
Why does this sound real?
entire retail zone was
Why are they
closed
making
and
it sound so
barricaded
real?
under the pretense of a severe black mold infestation. Armed Foundation personnel also arrived on the site shortly after, based on Martin's vague statements that there were creatures of some kind inside. Due to his deteriorating mental health, Martin was unable to provide a great deal of lucid information on the specific traits of SCP-3008. But one phrase he kept repeating was,
There's an SCP that's just a cake that keeps on doubling itself when not eaten. Double it and give it to the next person? Is that like the joke?
bigger on the inside.
Of the SCP?
Once researchers were satisfied that Martin had delivered all the pertinent information he was able to, he was administered Foundation amnestics to erase his memory of the last 3 years and return to his family.
Oh my
A cover story was
God.
formulated.
Wow,
Martin
why
had
did I
been
never see this
kidnapped
on
and
the
abused
news?
for 3 years by a mentally unbalanced stalker in downtown Carson. He'd been able to escape as said stalker took his own life out of guilt, a suicide that the Foundation expertly fabricated to make their cover story airtight.
That's crazy.
With the loose end of Martin Sims taken care of,
Freaky
the true
Gojo,
observation
hi,
of
crazy
SCP-3008 could begin. A base set around the perimeter of the mysterious IKEA kept a 24-hour watch on the building, covering all potential entrances and exits. No exploratory missions had yet been approved by the Foundation Ethics Committee, so they first wanted to perform a week of external observation to see if any of the store's anomalous properties extended beyond the confines of the building. After a week of nothing, it appeared
Why do I feel like this SCP would be paradise for some of you fuckers? I just feel like some of you would be really happy to be there in IKEA forever. And to be fair, I kind of get it, because if you could have like a computer in there, there's really no reason to ever leave.
they did not. A local site director approved of the use of 20 disposable Class D
Mount the
personnel
last thing you
to
for the
explore
23
the
months,
interior of
bye-bye.
SCP-3008. The D-Class operatives would be split into 4 squads of 5 men, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, and Delta Squad. Each would be assigned a different quadrant
This is so fucking funny, the way that they change it to Bravo instead of like Beta, because nobody wants to be on Beta team.
of the store and would deliver information back to the control team on site via a live audio and video link. 3 of the 4 teams upon entering the store reported nothing out of the ordinary. Neither the audio or video they were sending back indicated anything different from a standard IKEA store, from the flat pack wardrobes to the Swedish meatballs.
It was always
Team
Bravo.
Delta,
The joke is that they named it that way because nobody wanted to be on the Beta team.
however, suddenly began experiencing a scrambled audio and video connection. Shortly after, communication with Team Delta dropped off entirely. They disappeared somewhere inside the store and haven't been seen since, with one notable exception. After the disappearance and the extraction of teams, Foundation researchers classified SCP-3008 as Euclid.
What is a fucking
because
Euclid?
its anomalous properties were at least confined to the interior of the store, and even then seemingly not the entire interior. The anomalous area within SCP-3008 became known as SCP-3008-1, and containment appeared to be 100% secure. There was no telling how many people had already gone missing in the store over the years, but the disappearances must be stopped. The Foundation maintained constant surveillance around the perimeter of SCP-3008, but it appeared they could prevent any further incidents by simply
Imagine that you're like pulling up an IKEA on your phone and you're just like trying to pick up some fucking groceries, and you drive by and you see that the IKEA is just being surrounded by cops, police, and men in like fucking full combat gear all the time, and you're like, damn, this must be a really bad area.
Preventing other civilians from accessing the IKEA store. Martin's ravings about monsters were assumed to just be the product of delirium, until a surviving member of Delta Team suddenly reappeared. The date was November 3rd, 2011.
Yes!
It was a cold night, a few hours after what would have been closing time if the store were still active, and 7 months after the extraction teams had disappeared somewhere in the confines of SCP-3008. There had been no anomalous activity outside the store since the perimeter was first secured, and the Foundation researchers hadn't expected that to change until the last surviving member of Delta Team came barging out
There's
of
a
the
game
store's
based on this
entrance.
SCP where you can wander the infinite IKEA. Is it like the fucking back rooms? Is the back rooms an SCP? Because it sounds like that is literally just the back rooms again.
Startled field operatives were amazed to see him again, but they were even more amazed to see what was following him out of the store, repeating the same phrase.
An
"The store is
IKEA
now closed.
employee!"
Please exit the building. Despite the fact that the entity
The store is now closed. Please exit the building. The store is closed. Please exit the building. The store is closed. Please exit the building. And he gets progressively angrier and angrier.
chasing the Delta Team survivor was wearing the yellow shirt and blue pants of an IKEA store employee, the
course he
being
was.
definitely was not human. It was
No
around
shit.
7 feet tall with no visible face. The entity had grossly extended limbs.
If you're gonna make a weird human-shaped creature, I feel like you should make it even taller than that, you know?
With each
You're
arm
stopping
being
at
around
7
5 or
feet,
6
really?
feet long and ending in a huge oversized hand. The whole process was so sudden
He's 7
that
feet,
the
but his
field
arms
agents
are 5
present
to
at the
6 feet
perimeter
long.
weren't
He's
able to save
dragging
the
his
Delta Team
balls
survivor
across the
as
ground.
the entity reached forward with his freakishly long
He's like, please leave. The store is now closing. And you hear like thump, 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 thump. That's his fucking ball sack bouncing on the ground as he runs towards
arms, grabbed him and twisted his head off like a child with a doll. The field operatives present drew their weapons and peppered the entity with bullets. It would later be classified as SCP-3008-2.
Of course.
The being
It didn't
appeared
do
to
anything,
collapse
did
and
it?
die from the physical trauma, at which point it and the body of the former Delta Team survivor were taken for an autopsy by Foundation researchers. There were no biological abnormalities of the body of the Delta Team survivor, so it did not appear that the anomalous properties of SCP-3008-1 had any effect on the physiology of its occupants. He was not malnourished
I think I'm
despite
starting to
being missing
understand
for
the
months,
appeal of
and the contents of
SCP.
his stomach looked to be half-digested food consistent with the menu of a typical IKEA
It's kind of fun to think about the world being full of weird supernatural phenomenon that scientists and researchers are investigating.
store restaurant. SCP-3008-2, on the other hand,
So
raised
much
a
like
number
our
of
world, but
perplexing
not.
biological questions. The autopsy revealed that the creature's clothes were actually part of its body, like an additional layer of skin. The creature lacked blood or any kind of vascular system. Even stranger, the entity didn't appear to have bones or internal organs, not even a brain or nervous system. It was a being made entirely of skin all the way to its core.
Ew.
How it was able to move, or even live for that matter, remains a mystery. Though when you work for the SCP Foundation, you learn to accept that some things will always remain unexplained. One thing was certain though, Martin Sims was right about his
You know how it is. Even when you're super sick, you have to report to work. He just didn't have any sick time.
monsters. After the incident with Delta Team, the Foundation deemed that sending manned explorations into the heart of SCP-3008 was too much of a liability, and planned a series of drone-based reconnaissance missions into the anomaly. The first of these drones experienced connection issues and failed when attempting to venture into the IKEA's anomalous zone. However, after
LOL,
a
of course
lengthy
it did.
period of trial and error, the
They're stupid.
Foundation was able to establish a more secure connection with its drones.
Just kidding, it
even
worked.
when deep into the
That was a great idea.
SCP-3008-1 anomalous zone. It was only then that some of the most extraordinary discoveries were made. SCP-3008-1 seemed to break the laws of spatial reality, as the area of the IKEA's interior was at least an order of magnitude larger than its exterior. Just as Martin Sims had said, it was bigger on the inside, but just how much bigger? The Foundation has yet to
How
find
big
evidence of
is a
any
great
physical
question.
terminators within the store that might indicate SCP-3008-1 has an end point, while an area of at least 10 kilometers squared has been uncovered
It's literally
in
just the back rooms, but IKEA.
SCP-3008-1. It could, in theory, be infinite. Laser rangefinder tests, which are normally very reliable, have only given inconclusive results. Interestingly, the anomalous area doesn't have any clear visual difference.
Thank you, totally not suspicious van. You sound like you're an SCP-2 with that username. Thank you for the tier 3 and the 2 year. I appreciate. Thank you.
Differences from the rest of the IKEA store, except that it extends
I'm stuttering
forever.
a lot today,
An
by the
individual
way.
trapped within the confines of SCP-3008-1 wouldn't even realize they've entered
Oh my God, an
anomalous
actual
zone
prisoner.
until they tried to locate an exit and leave, at which point they'd find they were already
Dude, the fucking IKEA being used as a prison would be so base. That guy survived 3 years without ever running into a creepy guy like that. So why the hell wouldn't you just like choose to live there? It's kind of perfect. And Purgatory, thank you for the sub. Holy shit, 6 months? That's a big commitment. Do you trust me? Thank
Be
you.
hopelessly lost. The geography of SCP-3008-1 does at least appear to be consistent, so people trapped within are theoretically able to retrace their steps and escape if they haven't already ventured too deep. According to data collected during the drone reconnaissance missions, SCP-3008-2, of which there appear to be a vast population, would wander the stores aimlessly during the day. They are unresponsive to the drone's presence and did not appear to be aggressive. While the physical descriptions of these creatures could vary slightly, they all follow the same overall trend. Clothes consistent with an IKEA uniform, no face, either seemingly too tall or too short, and limbs that are grossly out of proportion with
What's the lore of this though? Like, what's the lore? Did the IKEA CEO commit like a fucking atrocity? Was there witchcraft done on the IKEA building? Is it the home of demons?
their bodies. As the Foundation began sending drones deeper into SCP-3008-1, they found
We don't
another
know. I
incredible
refuse to accept
discovery.
that.
There was an unknown population of humans trapped inside IKEA's anomalous zone, and these people had used the IKEA furniture around them to create entire settlements and towns within the store. There were several of these towns, all of which seemed to cohabitate peacefully. Even Foundation personnel found this development in their research to be truly extraordinary. Since SCP-3008 was first identified, there have been only 14 civilian
Oh my god, why is her
escapes.
ass
Some
so
had been
thick?
trapped inside for months, others had been in there for years, some far longer than Martin's 3-year stint. While every one of these escapees has eventually been released back to their home, after a liberal application of amnestics and a proper cover story has been devised, the Foundation interviewed each of them extensively first. According to each of these escapees, the people trapped inside the IKEA have built an entirely new society
As you
across
would,
the
as you
various
would.
settlements. Contrary to the Lord of the Flies expectations of a group of people isolated and afraid, there's immense cooperation between the trapped civilians. The food in the
That's
several
us! Chatty, that's gonna be us! We're gonna get trapped in the fucking IKEA, but we're gonna love each other, we're gonna work together, we're gonna be happy.
IKEA restaurants in SCP-3008-1 mysteriously replenishes while nobody's there, so there's
We're
no
gonna
threat
start
of
a
starving.
society in
and
there.
the automatic turning on and off of the lights forms as a rudimentary
Anonymous
kind of
gamer,
day and night
amazing
cycle.
username, welcome.
Nighttime, however, is when things get dangerous, as the SCP-3008-2 entities, which are known to the people inside as the staff, become
The
extremely
staff.
hostile after dark. Aggressive hordes of the staff swarm the settlements at night, repeating, "This door is now closed, please exit the building."
door is now
The civilians
closed.
inside are usually able to repel these attacks with minimal casualties, but the constant war of attrition slowly wears down those inside. The bodies of
Damn.
the creatures also need to be removed from the area
Attack
after
on
each
Titan.
attack, as the presence of corpses or even parts of corpses has been known to heighten the ferocity of the next night's attack. During the day, the staff return to a docile and unresponsive state, though they'll still defend themselves violently if anyone dares to attack. Over the course of the interviews with the 14 escapees, Foundation researchers were able to answer another of their key questions. How had so many people gone missing in the store for so long without being noticed? But the answer they received only raised many more unsettling queries. According to the escapees, there were people inside the settlements that, despite being otherwise of entirely sound mind and standard intelligence, seemed to lack very common knowledge that even a
What?
child should know. For example, some of them weren't aware of the International Space Station orbiting the Earth, or strangers
It's filled with Americans?
still the existence of the Statue of Liberty. This led the researchers to a frightening conclusion. SCP-3008-1 may not only be a nexus point of multiple IKEA stores in our dimension, it could be connected to IKEAs in every dimension where IKEAs exist. While it only abducts a handful of people from each store over an extended period of time, it suddenly becomes clear how this SCP was able to trap so many people without detection over such a
It's a
long
baby
period of
snatcher.
time, which in turn led to an even more terrifying revelation. The SCP Foundation may not have SCP-3008-1 as contained as they thought. It might even be tucked away in an IKEA store somewhere near you, just waiting for you to visit. After all, there's always room for one more.
Bro, if I was IKEA, first of all, I would issue a takedown on this shit. I would be so pissed that people are like not coming to my store because they're afraid they're gonna get sucked into the fucking SCP IKEA. But also, I would issue a takedown because I would want to generate intrigue and make people think that there's truth to it. I want people to think that there's truth to the story. They're like, whoa, they don't want us to know about the IKEA, bro. They don't want us to know about the SCP IKEA and the fact that it's real and that you can be whisked away into it if you visit a real IKEA right now. What did you think of SCP now, Lucy? I think it's interesting, but it's basically just like a long creepypasta that multiple people contribute to. Speaking of, literally, I got recommended this video, and what the fuck is this thumbnail? What the fuck is this thumbnail, dude? Why did you put this on my Reddit? Why is everybody sending me weird, creepy shit? Anyway, we're watching it, of course.
I had just left my mother's house after visiting her on her birthday. She lives
What?
a state over from me, and while I don't visit as often as I should, I try to make it out there when I do get a chance. The
Wow,
drive
this
to
looks
my
so
mother's
stupid.
house was fine.
The models.
Actually, I made pretty good time. Normally a 6-hour trip ended up taking me only 5 hours, and that was a plus. I never
Is this
really
AI
cared much-
voiceover? I actually don't think it's AI voiceover because I can hear breathing. I don't know if this makes sense, but I can hear actual breath behind the voice, unlike AI where I don't hear that. But I don't know if that's me being delusional or cope.
for driving. Sure, some people would argue that driving can be cathartic, driving peacefully on an open road. For me, however, I just find driving, especially long distances, to be monotonous. The less time I
Me
have to spend on the
too.
road, the better.
And I'm not even the one driving.
I had left my mother's a little after 4 p.m., and for the first hour or so, I was met with an outrageous amount of congestion. I think I ended up sitting on the highway without moving for a total of 20 minutes straight. Then, immediately after, I was met with intermittent stops which turned my monotonous trip into one of agony.
Traffic when you're like
The
driving somewhere
constant
far away
drive
is
to
insane.
feed and brake was beginning to take a toll on my mind. After about an hour and a half, my GPS came to life informing me of a severe accident further down the road.
Of course.
Although I wasn't
As if we couldn't figure
surprised,
that
I was
out.
grateful to have something to blame on this bad traffic. As my car crept further down the road, my GPS with her
What is with
overly
this Silent
sugar
Hill
voice
2-ass
suggested that I take a
environment?
detour. At that point, anything was better than sitting in this metaphorical hell. The exit was slowly approaching, and just trying to get to that ramp was torturous. Like having your favorite food
This is what
place
roads
just out
look
of
like,
your
by the
reach.
way.
Eventually, I made it, and followed a few other cars making a quick exit as well. My GPS began to plot a new route home as I drove along the side
I like how
road.
it says plot as if it's
Around
like,
10 minutes later, I found myself driving
me write this
alongside
fucking
farmland
story.
for as far as the eye could see. While I was still a little frustrated at sitting in traffic, being able to drive consistently with a relaxing view did help calm me down a bit. It wasn't long after passing the third cornfield that I noticed that I was now alone on the road. I knew I had been following some cars when I pulled off the highway, but now there were no vehicles in front of or behind me. Even though that was
I don't like
odd,
that.
I put it out of my mind as I drove along. A few minutes later, my gas light appeared, and I sighed as this just seemed to add on to my many driving frustrations.
driving is scary
I
in
was pulling up
general.
to an intersection when I saw
I
a
don't
sign
need
for a
extra
town to my
details
right.
to make it worse.
Running out of options, I made my way down the road. When I first pulled into town, I
Joyceville.
was surprised at how barren it was. There was a small gas station on the edge of town, a post
They don't
office
make them like
nearby,
that no more.
and a few residential houses further down the road. Putting the thought to the back of my mind once again, I pulled into the gas station as the sun was beginning to set.
Why
After
is this
getting out of
car
my
that
car, I saw
low?
that the
Oh my god. Oh my god. Kissing the fucking ground that it drives on.
pump had a "Please pay inside" sign taped to it. So with a huff, I walked over to the gas station itself.
That's the sound he made.
When I stepped through the doors and locked eyes with the man behind the counter, he was an older gentleman with a white beard and a deep blue shirt. I gave him a nod as I walked over to the coolers to grab a water.
I gave him a disturbing, creepy nod.
He didn't return a nod, nor did he make any movements whatsoever. It
What?
was late, I thought.
They're so
Probably
rude
the end of his
here.
shift. I walked up to the counter and set my water down and asked him to put 20 on the pump outside. He just stared at me for a moment with a grin that seemed forced. After a
He
full
gave him
minute
the
of
white girl
silence,
smile.
I asked him if he was all right. He simply nodded, pressed a few buttons on the register, then returned to his previously motionless
That's such a
demeanor.
creepy ass face, bro.
I asked him how much it was for the water, but the man didn't acknowledge me at all. Feeling
He just-
too tired to
dude.
deal with all this,
Oh my god, of course. You know what? These ableist fucking people, they see a man with autism working at the gas station in a local small town, and then they call him creepy and they write a fucking creepypasta about
I
him.
just said a 20 and a few ones on the counter.
Let
and
people
headed out to
live
my
their
car.
lives!
As I was filling up my car, I noticed something even stranger than the gas station clerk. There was a woman standing in the middle of the street.
A woman. You
I
don't
watched
see
her
that
until
every
my
day.
tank was topped off, wondering what the hell she was doing. After I finished, I walked out into the street, taking care to check for oncoming cars. As I approached her, I asked her if she was doing all right.
Why did you get that close? That's
She had
crazy.
the same odd grin as the clerk. I
It's
gently
me.
placed a hand on her shoulder, and she turned to me. I asked her if she knew that she was standing in the street, to which she replied, "Oh yes,
Oh yes.
we are happy here."
We are happy here.
She turned back away from me and continued staring down the road. At this point, I was ready to leave, and not just because my gas tank was full. I got in my car
We are
and
happy
carefully drove
here.
around the woman as she remained motionless. As I drove through the town, more and more things stuck out at me. The post office nearby had 4 people standing outside of its doors. Though I have a friend who
What the
works at the
fuck?
post office and they don't stay open very late at all. So either this was a unique post office or those people were waiting to get inside a closed building.
He's got a
I
cool
began to
hoodie.
pass by the houses next. One house had a man raking his front lawn.
Normal
enough,
behavior!
although there wasn't a single leaf anywhere to be found.
He's just
Across the street from
wasting
him
time. This is
was a house that
Stop trying to make the small town life creepy and weird, okay? Stop it. Stop trying to make it weird. You just have to fucking find things to do. Like, you make your own problems when you have nothing, okay?
had
They don't even have a
small
Walmart.
seesaw in the front yard.
You don't know what it's like.
with 2 children playing on it.
Yeah, we're so
Except-
happy here.
They were both sitting on it evenly, staring at each other, not going up and down. I started to pick up my pace as I wanted more and more to get out of this strange town.
You ever done that,
But I
Chatty?
soon regretted that decision as flashing lights filled my rearview mirror. I groaned as I pulled over to the side of the street.
Is the
I
policeman
watched
gonna
in
be
my mirror as the
smiling?
police officer stepped outside of his vehicle with a large grin plastered across his face.
It's me.
He slowly walked up to my window and stood there. I had been pulled over before, and one thing I learned is you wait for instructions from the officer. After a few
But he
minutes,
didn't say
came and went,
anything.
I rolled down the window and asked if there was a problem. With a relatively happy tone, the officer said, "You have the right to remain silent." I
You
gave him
have
a
the right to
confused
remain
look and asked
silent.
if I was under arrest. To which he spoke again. "It's illegal to drive a car, sir."
What?
If I wasn't already so creeped out by the whole town, I would have thought this was actually quite funny. I told him that I had a license and
illegal to drive a
registration
car,
to drive
sir.
this car. He then leaned down and almost stuck his head inside my car window before saying, "Have a nice day."
Have a
He
nice
then
day.
stood back up, walked back to his car, then drove away with his lights still flashing. I was at
It
a
is
loss
illegal
for
to drive a
words.
car if you have no
Never in
license.
my
He's
life
not
had I
wrong.
experienced anything like that before. Taking a moment to compose myself, I looked around and noticed that all the people were now staring at me. The man raking his leafless yard, the 2 children. Everyone was staring at my car now. I started to drive away.
Yata
when I
Garasu,
stopped
thank you for the
myself,
happy anniversary.
very uneasy. The woman from before. The one that was standing in the middle of the street near the gas station. Well, she was still in the street, but right in front of me now. I had been driving for quite a few minutes, so unless she was a
What
marathon
the fuck?
sprinter, there was no way she could have gotten in front of me. I
Shadi, would you
slowly
run her
crept
over? Would
closer
you
to
run
her.
me over?
and like before, carefully maneuvered my car around her. I still had my window down as I passed by slowly. When I was almost halfway, she turned to me. Her eyes were a dark shade of red, and she was no longer smiling. In a deep, gravelly voice that obviously didn't belong to her, she said,
Join us.
Join us.
I have never stomped my foot on the gas pedal that hard before in my life. My tires squealed down the road, and I didn't let off until I started to see the cornfields once again. After another half hour of driving, I found a road leading back to the highway. Once I was back on the highway, a tidal wave of relief washed over me.
That's just me advertising my stream. Why are people so
I didn't get off
hateful?
the highway until I was finally home. When I made it home, I couldn't stop thinking about all those weird people. How they all looked like people, but they didn't act like people. I know this must sound confusing to all of you, but it's just as confusing to me. After I made it home, I took some time to retrace the route I took on the map, and saw that there was no town in that area. I'm not entirely sure who they are, or even what they are. But I think next
Badass
year,
computer?
I'll
That's a
just
flight
send my
engine
mom a
about to
card
take
for her
off.
birthday. Instead.
Hey, chatty. Join us. Join us. Join us. It's a good deal. You should do it. You should do it. I'm glad Lucy liked that one I suggested. It took a second to like warm up, but it had a good conclusion. Very funny. Very funny. Chatty, did it creep you out? Give it a rating on the creepy scale. How creepy would you say? Out of 10 creepies, how many creepies is it? Alpha Reborn, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I appreciate it. Also, Exa King, thank you for the 5 months. Blah blah. 1, 7, 3, 7, 4, 5, 3, 4, 6. I give it like a 5. I give it like a 5. I think it's entertaining anyway. Even though I think it's like a decent amount of creepy. I think the graphics really add to it. I think if I were just reading it, it wouldn't really do as much for me. But like with all those creepy ass, goofy ass 3D models, they've got like that uncanny valley thing going on. Without that though, it does change a little bit for me. I'm not gonna lie. Oh. Oh. Okay, let me click this, bring it back. I think we're done with creepy videos though. Maybe we're done with creepy videos. This just says Columbo solves the Death Note case. Chatty, who the fuck is Columbo? Should I watch this video? Hydration? Who the actual fuck is that? Am I even going to understand this video? Whatever. You don't know Columbo? No! The only detective I know is Sherlock Holmes. Oh my god.
Anything interesting to look
This filter is serving cunt.
That's right, Al. I win. Now there's no one left to stand in my way. Now that I've gotten rid of you, it's only a matter of time before I get rid of the police. Then I will become the god of this new world.
He barked like a dog on his grave.
Sorry for disturbing you, pal. I heard there was a funeral going on for a big shot detective. I was just in the neighborhood and wanted to pay my respects.
My apologies, but this is a private funeral, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave, Mr.
Columbo. Lieutenant
Columbo.
LAPD. Oh, looks like the pigs have come out to play, Light.
LAPD? You're with the police?
Yeah, but I'm not a big shot like you.
Nah, me when I'm Light and I'm like, why the fuck is the Los Angeles Police Department in Japan?
Me, San.
Ah, so you've heard of me?
Oh, yes, I most certainly have. You've been helping your pops with solving cases since you were in diapers. Not to mention you and Mr. Ryuzaki-san over here being the dynamic duo tackling the Kira case. You've been the talk of the precinct back in LA.
I must assure you, Lieutenant, talk of my exploits have been greatly exaggerated. I'm nothing compared to my partner Ryuzaki.
Oh, his partner Ryuzaki. Who's dead as fuck! I pulled your card and decided to check you out since you look so good. Glad I did. Oh my god, you think I look good? Real? You must love me forever now. You were attracted to me, so you're not ever allowed to stop being attracted to me. I don't care if my voice isn't what you thought it was. I don't care if you find me cringe. I don't care if you think I'm not funny, okay? If you want to stare at my tits forever, like on the card, then you have to stay here forever. It's your duty.
A great man. A man whose sense of
Join
justice I
us!
strive to meet each and every day. Ryuzaki.
No one's gonna get that reference anymore.
May be gone now, but I promise that I will catch Kira.
Oh, now don't sell yourself short there, Mr. Yagami-san.
No,
Yagami-san.
Please, just call me Light.
Shano, thank you for the gift sub to make sure they feel too guilty to ever leave now.
With you and me working together, I think we can catch this Kira guy in no time.
Yes, I promise. I will bring Kira to his execution.
Kira.
Something wrong?
No, I just, did you say working together?
Yeah, that's why I'm here. Wait. Did the boys not tell you?
Tell me what?
I see. I'm so sorry, Mr. Yagami-san.
Mark Tater, welcome. Amazing.
But I should have said something earlier anyhow. How about we go for a little walk to clear the air?
He laughs like a fucking smoker.
So you're telling me you've been sent by Interpol to work on the Kira case as my partner?
Yeah, that about sums it up. This Kira fella's murder spree has started to show up on our side of the pond, so to speak. So after my little stint in Mexico, they sent me over here to help clean up this whole fiasco.
Look, Lieutenant, I appreciate the sentiment, but after losing Ryuzaki, I work alone. Besides, being my partner would only make you a target.
Now.
If Death Note was real, America would have invaded Japan again to secure the note? Dude, that's stupid. The Death Note has nothing to do with oil.
I'm not trying to impose, Mr. Yagami-san.
Just Light, Lieutenant.
My bad. But please, Light. Just let me help you out. It'll look real good to my superiors if we can quash this magic notebook business together.
So they already told you then about the Death Note.
I just want to brag about how I dropped that punchline and I didn't laugh at my own joke, which was very high effort for me.
Oh, yeah,
Please praise
it's
me.
Real scary stuff. You're telling me you can just write a person's name in this notebook, and they just croak?
From our understanding, yes. We're still studying the ins and outs of the Death Note, but that appears to be its general function.
Oh, that's
I forgot they found out about the Death Note by that point.
Of people getting murdered, but this is the first time I've ever heard of the list doing the murders. Oh, my wife is gonna be terrified when she hears about this.
Lieutenant, need I...
Get it? It's funny because he hates his wife!
Remind you, this case is classified?
Oh, right. Sorry
Hydration?
about that, Mr. Yagami-san.
What's with this guy? This is the detective they bring in to solve the Kira case? He's just a bumbling idiot. This is the best Interpol
He loves
has
his
to
wife.
offer.
How would I know this about Columbo?
Insulting. You send a small, bumbling Italian man to catch a god.
Clues.
If you want to catch me, you'll have to do much better than this. In fact, I think I may just make an example out of you, Lieutenant.
Excuse me, Mr. Yagami-san?
Yes, what is it?
You okay there? You just sort of zoned out there for a sec.
Sorry. I have a bad habit of getting lost in my thoughts.
Oh no, I understand.
Dude, it's so fucking crazy. Every time somebody does one of those Death Note things where they take out Light's inner monologue and then they show what the anime would have been like if it just didn't have Light talking to you the entire time. And it's like, no wonder L was so convinced that Light was Kita and he was just trying to look for a way to prove it.
I get that way whenever my wife and I play Scrabble.
This guy's got major autism.
Forever to find a word to put on the board. But my wife, oh, she's a natural. I can never beat her in a game. Not in a million years.
Look at him. He seems to take pride in his ignorance. My world will be much better off without fools like these.
He's like, he thinks he's less smart than a woman. Get rid of him.
You're a real funny guy, Mr. Yagami-san.
It's Light. And what exactly do you mean by that, Lieutenant?
It's just that from all the stories I'd heard, you seemed like the cold, calculating type. A guy who never did nothing without a good reason. But you're always laughing, aren't you?
Lieutenant, please, don't put me on some pedestal.
Nah, of
really
course,
is.
that's so silly of me. Who doesn't love a good laugh now and then? Though
A
I
good
do
laugh.
find something kinda odd.
And what do you find odd, Lieutenant?
Well, it's just, when we were at the cemetery, I saw you laughing there too. But I just couldn't understand what was so
He
funny.
saw him.
Isn't that strange?
Caught.
Mr. Yagami-san?
The cemetery. No, it can't be.
No.
I made sure the coast was clear. I worked so hard to stifle my laughter until it was only Ryuk and I. Did I slip up? Did this clown see me? No, this can't be. I was alone, I swear it. The funeral was private, so there's no way he should... Wait.
I heard there was a funeral going on for a big shot detective.
This guy knew
The truth comes out.
That was a fact we made certain to keep under wraps from the general public. So that means the likelihood of him being invited here is high. And since he showed up late, I wouldn't have seen his name on the guest list. Okay, calm down. If he saw me, there's a chance he suspects that I'm Kira. If I try to deny it, that would only make me look even more suspicious.
I'm sorry to interrupt this extremely compelling drama to say this, but I'm just thinking right now about how pretty much after L dies, which by the way, congrats on the spoiler if you didn't know how Death Note goes at this point. This whole video has been one big fucking spoiler. But anyway, after L dies, like the Kita case, doesn't Light take over it? And basically there's like no fucking progress at all, obviously because he's fucking Kita. And so he stalls it the whole time. It's really interesting to me that he's so arrogant and he really wants acknowledgement for the things that he's doing, and he wants people to be like, wow, like you're so smart, like you're so intelligent. And yet his whole scheme requires him to look like extremely inferior and stupid compared to the guy who died previously. That must be why he got so sloppy, because he wanted other people to acknowledge how good he was and how smart he was. And no wonder he would just like crash out sometimes and start maniacally laughing because he was holding it in so hard. He's literally the guy, he was literally me making a joke and not laughing at his own punchline and unable to ask Chatty to praise him for it. But I will ask Chatty to praise me for it. I thank God every day I didn't end up with a death note. Instead, I'm a streamer.
I have to talk my way out of this. I just need to...
Mr. Yagami-san?
What?
There you are, son. You haven't said anything in over 1 minute, 9 seconds, and 37 frames.
He was
Just
counting
wanted to
that
make sure
shit.
you were still in there.
Sorry. It's just been a long day.
Sometimes he goes nonverbal, okay? Chill.
I see. It must be the stress then. Oh, that makes perfect sense. I know if I were in your shoes, I'd be laughing too if I had to deal with this kind of pressure. Especially now that your partner is gone.
Yeah, it feels like having the weight of the world on my
His
shoulders.
partner.
I have the hopes and dreams of so many riding on me to catch Kira. I try not to let it show, but the pressure gets to me sometimes.
You know, I think you should talk to your pops about this, if you aren't feeling well.
What? No, I'm fine, I promise. We don't need to...
Tell you what, Mr. Yagami-san, I can tell you aren't comfortable talking
Is
to him
Columbo
about it,
Fujo?
so
Absolutely,
how about
I'm
I
getting the
talk to him
vibe.
for you?
Lieutenant, please, that's not necessary.
No, it'll be fine. You can't just bottle this stuff up, son. You gotta let it out. That's what families are for, after all. Look, the boys are still waiting in the car. I'll go grab your dad and we can have a nice family chat.
No. He's going to ruin everything. If he tells my father what he saw, it's only a matter of time before the police find me out. I have to do something. Anything. Wait, Mr. Columbo.
What is it, son?
Oh, I just remembered. We're going to be working together, but we haven't even had a formal meeting yet. Would you mind filling out this ledger with what times you'd be available this week? We need to bring Kira to justice,
Garfield
but
cover!
I'll need your help, Lieutenant Columbo.
Oh, why, of course. That'd be no trouble. Do you have a pen?
Right here, Lieutenant.
Thank you. There we go. Well, I guess this talk with your pops can wait. I'll get out of your hair then.
Thank you, Lieutenant. I'll be seeing you soon.
Be seeing you soon. In hell!
I'll be seeing you soon, alright? In about 40 seconds, I'll see you hit the ground. This letter you just filled out was actually the death note I'd taken from that foolish Shinigami Rem. I thought I'd need it today, and it appears my instincts were spot on. All I had to do was place a slipcover over it, and you were none the wiser. Now die, Lieutenant Columbo!
Mr. Yagami-san?
Stop doing that!
There's, just one more thing. See, I'm awfully tired, and I think I might have written the wrong name in your day planner.
Oh, that's all? It's no worries, we can just fix it real quick.
Is it his name?
No, it can't be.
No!
This is my name.
It's over. It's fucking over. Ryuka's
I just don't
geeking.
know what came over me. I haven't been getting a lot of sleep lately, so I just wasn't really thinking. Again, I'm so sorry, Mr. Yagami-san.
It's over.
You! My ambition, my plans, everything I've worked for, ruined by this buffoon! No, 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 no! No, it can't be. He was just playing the fool? He knows! He knows I'm Kira!
He knows!
Oh, you don't look too good, son. Stay right there. I'm gonna go get your pops.
You aren't going anywhere, Lieutenant. You think you're so smart, huh? You knew this was the death note, and so you wrote my name in it instead of yours. Because unlike the rest of these incompetent fools, you were the only person that could figure it out.
I don't understand, Mr. Yagami-san. What are you?
I'll let you in on a little secret.
Mr. Yagami-san!
The one who killed Ryuzaki, who killed L, was me. I am the god of this world. I am the one who brings justice to the wicked. And now,
he's finally able to clout chase for it.
Justice unto you, Lieutenant Columbo, because I am Kira.
He just came.
Wait, I'm still
alive, Mr. Yagami-san.
How did you?
You see, Mr. Yagami-san, on my first day in the office, something seemed very strange. Ryuzaki's name didn't seem to appear anywhere in the notebook in police custody. And we knew a Shinigami was the culprit in Ryuzaki's murder, which meant only one thing.
The presence of a second notebook.
Precisely. Now, this second notebook had to be somewhere, but for the life of me, I just couldn't seem to find it. So I decided to take a look at the original notebook. And would you believe my shock when I saw that gangly fella behind your shoulder right now?
What? You don't mean...
What can I say, Light? The lieutenant offered me quite the sweet deal. It turns out it's quite easy to persuade a god of death. All I needed was a little help from my old friend,
Oh my
Granny
god!
Smith.
Oh my
You
god,
sold me
no
out
way!
for a bag of apples?
What can I say, Light? My hands were tied.
I could have bought you some if you just asked!
Well, thanks to my Shinigami friend here, I was able to get a hold of that second notebook you hid so well. So I played a little prank. That notebook in your hands right now is just an ordinary notebook. The only noteworthy thing in that book is your confession, Kira.
Oh my
And,
god.
for the record,
Awiba, welcome
my
on.
first name isn't Lieutenant.
Get it? Because he's Japanese. He thought Lieutenant was an American Western man name. It worked perfectly. Lucy, what's your favorite apple? Yeah, the Granny Smith. I like your Granny Smiths all up in my face.
I'd like to give a special
Pretty
thanks
good.
to the...
Wow, what a video! That's crazy! It was all Ryuk's fault that he lost anyway. That's fucking insane. You know what? Yeah, that makes sense. You bring over American apples, and then he fucking cracks immediately. Aww! Really? That's so cute. That's so cute. Oh my god. What's a real thing besides our love for Lucy? I don't know. I don't know what this video is about, but it says the importance of real things. Which I am real, by the way. This better not be about me. Lucy, we can't hear TTS, by the way. What? How long? How long have you been unable to hear TTS? Oh my god. How long have you been 17? A while. Dude, what the fuck? I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Now everybody thinks that I'm a schizo. Now everyone thinks that I'm a fucking crazy ass schizo. Fuck this place.
A few months ago, the bookshelf in our apartment collapsed. The reason why wouldn't make
He said, just one more thing. Columbo mispronounced Mr. Yagami-san a different way each time, but said Matsuda correctly. Also, the apples Ryuk is eating are Granny Smiths, which aren't sold in Japan, so Columbo offered the good stuff. There you go.
very good mystery novel. My roommate Finn decided to double up the books on each shelf because one layer was not enough space for all the books, and because what even is weight limit? After all, books are just like highly processed bricks of wood wrapped in leather. Anyways, it looked like this for a week. As we were building the new shelf and scattering through this
little
mountain
messy
of books, Finn was like, maybe we should get 2 shelves. And I responded, maybe we should have less books. I know, I love books. It's a sad thing to say, but no one is tripping over the couch in this apartment to read the 1975 copy of Encounter with an Angry God by Cara Beth Lard. Yes, if I...
But maybe they should. And maybe the fall of society and the isolation that we've all been experiencing is because people aren't tripping over themselves to read exactly that. Have you ever considered that before you made this video?
If focused, and if I was diligent and like read every single day, I could crank through like maybe 25 of these books in a year. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna read Alfred Hitchcock's Get Me to the Wake on Time. Look at that. That's a cover. Look at that cover. What is he? Is that a hippo?
That's pretty good.
I mentioned my Kindle and the weightless piles of digital books I can read without it being a paperweight. And I just get the physical copies of the special books that I
hate
really
Kindles. I hate reading on a...
Will, my other roommate.
I hate reading books on Kindles. I really don't like it. And I think that's why I really don't read light novels very often. And I don't like reading on Kindle, so even like English books, I don't really read them as often anyway. I prefer a visual novel because that's literally what it's made for. But when you have like a book, there's nothing that can compare to feeling it in your hands and like the gradual progress you can visually see as you flip the page. It's so much better. The smell, the feel of it in your hands, nothing can compare. Kindles are fucking soulless. And I don't know if it's going to talk about this. It probably will, so forgive me for being fucking redundant. But I hate that Kindle books are still expensive while not even giving you a physical version of it.
That's not helping, but he offered his counter-argument, which was, yeah, but you don't own it, dude. Is that important to me? I mean, who cares if we own less things, right? Isn't that a good thing? All these things, we don't need to own media, right? Right? Isn't it just like a little bit weird that your name on social media is right next to a number that says how popular you are? Isn't that just a little bit suspicious? Isn't that a little bit...
He's number posting. He's number posting.
We're owning less media that's yours to keep forever until the pages wear out or the DVD scratches or it literally breaks down into atoms. We're owning less of the media that you keep for the sake of convenience. This isn't a new idea. It's being widely observed in the age of streaming and digitalization, everything, movies, TV, music. Our reliance on digital
corporate propaganda?
The benefits of owning all this physical stuff that we used to have. When I go back to my parents, I see the physical media that I had in my childhood, like VHS tapes and like GameCube games, Game Boy games. These are all games that were made like only 3 decades ago or even 2 decades ago. It's actually a huge problem right now. A lot of games made in the early 2000s are just getting lost to time because there's no copies of it getting made anymore and they're not really available on any platform. Most games now are just a digital receipt from companies like Steam or PlayStation.
So true.
Some are even approaching a streaming model like Xbox Game Pass.
Horrible.
Software is hardly bought anymore, but it's subscribed to.
You know what's
Horrible.
my favorite thing in the whole wide world? Signing into things every single day. I love accounts and passwords and emails and 2-step verifications where they send like a code to your phone. I love that Call
Every
of Duty
time.
needs a phone number. I love that you can't really buy software anymore.
Call of
You
Duty
just
needs a
kinda,
phone number?
Prove that you still own it and that you're still paying for it. And they don't even really make a good software. They just keep like adding new stuff to like prove to you that you need to keep spending money on it. I love that Apple tries very hard to get you to subscribe to storing your own files and that it's really hard to offload them to a computer. I love that. It's my favorite thing. Sorry, it's just a little inside joke.
Another reason for me to switch phone
I don't even
types.
want to get into the dystopia of Spotify.
Yes.
Why bother?
Did you guys hear that one? Did you guys hear that one? Did you hear that, TTS? Did I fix it? Did I fix it? Did I fix it?
Wonderful, beautiful collection of CDs and vinyls and
No!
things.
Why am I being Am I being gaslit or what? I don't know who to trust anymore. I'm scared. I'm afraid. I heard no TTS. Fuck! Unless it's super low. I mean, it might be lower than the video, to be fair. I promise I would never gaslight you, Lucy. Oh, fuck. I don't know what I did wrong, though. How did I fuck it up? How did I fuck it up? I'm looking, and it should be playing, honestly, so maybe you guys just aren't hearing it.
Boobies.
Do you hear it? Do you hear it? You hear it, right?
The boobies?
Okay. They hear it. So, you guys are just deaf, and you can't tell apart the difference between the video and the TTS. So everyone who answered yes has better ears than you, and those of you who answered no should get your ears checked. Good luck!
And support the artist and all that when you can have all of the music ever made in the entire universe at the tap of a button. These are pretty cool, actually. I have stacks and stacks and stacks of indie music from school. You would submit a CD on, like, the student radio and all that. And now it's all digitized. So my freshman year, they had crates and crates and crates and crates of CDs, like free. They're
so
getting
true.
rid of them.
I remember
There were
this.
so
I
many of them,
remember
so I didn't have
this.
time to listen to all of it. So I mainly went by the album artwork, which is crazy.
Me, when I would snoop through my family member's shit, which I had just now regained this memory, I would snoop through, like, my aunt's stuff for no real reason other than pure curiosity, and then I would just find, like, a whole drawer just filled with fucking CDs.
To think about now. I forgot about this stuff. This is the floor
Whoa.
of nuance. Ideas have gravity. We are attracted to them, and bigger, stronger ideas draw us in more. And without a floor, we fall until we get to the molten core, and we get crushed into a limited viewpoint that doesn't take in all of the factors. But with a floor, with a solid foundation, we can feel the gravity of an idea while also accepting that it's not the entire picture.
Okay.
So we're going to add some antithesis to our thesis. So counter argument one. I'm not saying keeping stuff for the sake of keeping things, because keeping too many things without any thought can lead to hoarding and can lead to all this other stuff. There's an argument to be made to not be focused on material possessions. We're all going to die someday, so like owning all this.
Yeah, but, like, at the same time, I, like, own my favorite thing. I like to own it. I do. A lot. I like to give away the thing that I don't want to own anymore. But I like having owned it. Does that make sense? Especially if it's a book. If we're talking about books, I like having owned it. And that's the whole thing. The thing that you bought can be given to someone else when you don't want it anymore. And maybe that's the problem with all of these electronic versions of media. They haunt us in our minds. There's no moment where we get rid of it, or we pass it on to the next person, or we sell it to the person who next wants to consume it. No, it lives with us forever, infecting our minds and taking us over and eroding us from the inside fucking out. The real problem is that we don't own all of our shit.
Stuff for the sake of owning it isn't necessarily what I'm trying to say. There are minimalists who have the opposite ideology of to own as little as possible, and there are benefits to that. The point is mindfulness of what you curate in your collection of things in this world. The second one is accessibility. Easy, cheap access to information.
I hate that PC games can't be owned. They used to be! Remember when they had the little CD? Little CD or the floppy disk? You remember? You remember this? Because I remember this.
Absolutely crucial. And the fact that you can rent entertainment for the price of like an afternoon lunch for an entire month and watch all these movies is incredible. There's apps like Libby where you can download ebooks and like audiobooks with a library card. It might not necessarily be a college degree, but you can go on YouTube and look up a tutorial for anything you could ever possibly want to do. Media literacy has also gone up. We're processing more information, more critical consensus of things. We're more aware culturally of all the stuff that's going on. So all these are good things. Information should be as accessible and as low of a cost as possible. And we don't need to own everything. But this access isn't necessarily given to us. It's sold, and the price we pay is control over exactly how we want this media to be commodified. Don't you think it would benefit streaming services?
What does he mean by that?
To make it seem like there is only one convenient way to access all this stuff. It almost seems like
That's Spotify! That's Spotify! Spotify is the worst! Spotify is the fucking worst, man! It's the worst, And it always feels like it's the best option, and especially the best option when you pay, because they're like, oh, we can't let you skip too many songs in one day if you're not paying. Can't let you skip any songs. And then they make it the most convenient out of all of the media. It's called a monopoly.
There's a manufactured
Want a break from the
obsolescence
ad?
happening
Stop
with
it.
this stuff. Let's take, for example,
Urban
the
Offset,
TV
thank you for the
series
100
The Crown.
biddies.
The Netflix series, The Crown.
And the nice message.
Aside from putting it in a kiln, why would you get that on DVD?
Well, I wouldn't, but you maybe my parents. I mean, it is available.
This show is available at any time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, given you have a Netflix subscription. Yeah, you could buy the box set and watch it anytime, forever, without a Wi-Fi connection, without ever getting ads. Hey, that's old school. Why would you want to do something so impractical? It's just so much easier to stream. It's right there all the time, with thousands and thousands of choices on other streaming platforms. Every episode of every Star Trek show, the 1,000 episodes of One Piece, every single Marvel
Netflix
movie
sucks.
in the canon, and the dozen.
I think Netflix sucks, and it sucks kind of, it can't ever have a chance to not suck, because they have to pay for the rights to host the fucking thing in the first place, and those rights are constantly running out. So you'll be like, oh, I want to go watch this thing on Netflix because I remember I started it and I didn't finish, and then you go to check it and it's like, oh, it's gone now. Sorry, we stopped paying for the fucking rights to it. Well, I guess I'll go shit myself now.
Of multi-season shows that
You know when you don't get that problem?
really wants you to keep watching.
Percy!
The access to the popular movies and the television is so
Sorry,
ubiquitous
Chatty, I
that
didn't mean to
it's not
sneeze
even
on stream
novel
like
anymore. It's
that.
just taken for granted.
This is the best show on television. Apart from mine, of course.
I think we all know that the streaming sites are starting to stink. They got that cable TV funk to them. I just feel like this stuff goes
ages
so
now.
much deeper than streaming services. I think it applies to like everything, to like art. Like I think we're looking at the moving picture differently thanks to all of these services. Think about how you watch YouTube. YouTube wants to keep all of these videos in large quantities and disposable. There aren't really social media videos that are like a final artifact that you like keep. You wouldn't download a YouTube video.
What?
or watch
No! Bullshit, because we have playlists on YouTube, ancient fucking playlists that people will send to each other, and they're like, you have to watch this fucking playlist. I literally am thinking of one right now. There's like a famous playlist on YouTube as we speak that's full of a bunch of ancient ass memes. It's not true. People share YouTube as if it's like ancient holy media.
on a physical copy of like best videos of 2024, and you're not meant to. It's not
The
even
YouTube
about
poop
one video.
compilations.
It's a feed. It's a stream of content. In fact, the algorithm, which is a terrifying word to use for creativity,
Yeah, it's
is
called
built
important
around
videos.
a large quantity of consistent videos than occasional high-quality art. No matter how much work goes into it, it doesn't seem to matter as much as the next one. An informational Kurzgesagt video that takes hundreds of hours and a team of researchers has the same weight on YouTube as Dracula Flow.
I'm on them
True.
Nashville nibblers.
The sources of all these videos from like Instagram.
I really hate to hurt your feelings when I say this to the people on that team who make those really detailed, well-researched videos, but actually it does not have the same weight. Your videos have way less.
YouTube and TikTok are so
I can look up the information you give me on Google, and it's a lesser experience, but it's the same experience, basically. But if I look at DraculaFlow, I can't find that shit anywhere else. Haters in shambles, they stay picking the corn out of my shit. When have you ever dropped a line that hard?
ubiquitous and homogenized and disposable that it's all kind of blending together into one stream of content, one way of consuming the content, and one way that your content is getting sold. This homogenized
Do you think there's like content burnout? Do you think that's the reason why so many of us struggle to watch or do anything? Because even if you tried to keep up with all of it, there's just so fucking much. You know, content burnout, content fatigue, whatever you want to call it. I find a lot of internal resistance when it comes to wanting to like try new things or do new things. I don't know, there's something in my brain that doesn't want to do it. Like even if I'm interested in the thing or the story or whatever, I just have like a mental block.
All Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, they all run. And it's in their best interest to feed into creators this idea that you have to be participating, you have to continuously make more and more and more. It's very strange, and it's a little dystopian. And I don't know if it's how art should be, even though this is kind of the way things are right now. I don't know the alternative.
Not
Okay,
the
so
Premiere
as I'm
Pro
making
zoom
this
out.
video, I discovered that there's a lot of videos that are addressing the exact same thing, which is fantastic. Just a few weeks ago, there was a huge talk by
There's nothing
Jack
new
Conf,
under the
the
sun.
Patreon guy, who is literally talking about the same problem, about the encouragement of like the shallowness
Live
of
content is all I'm into anymore. You know what? If you're in here right now and one of your favorite things to do is watch Twitch streams and watch live content, You are an extremely rare type of breed. And I say this because it's very easy to see why. Go on YouTube and you'll see like the biggest videos, they have like millions of views, right? Like it's not that uncommon to see a YouTuber. And if they're like a big YouTuber, they got like millions of views on each fucking YouTube video, okay? But you go to Twitch and the biggest streamers on Twitch at a given time, they have like 50K viewers, like at one fucking moment, right? That's because there are way more people that want to browse the internet in such a way as where like they go to a video, they watch it for however long they're entertained, and then they immediately leave. They're no longer invested. They no longer give a shit. They just want to come in, take what they want out of it, and then go and just fucking disappear. But not you, Chatty. How long have you been here? How long have you been here watching this fucking stream? Most people don't have the attention span for this, believe it or not. Believe it or not, a lot of people know they need the shiny lights and the fucking jumpy music and the sound effects of a YouTube video to stay engaged. In fact, some of them can't even handle the fucking YouTube video. They need the shorts. They need the TikTok to stay engaged, and even then they're scrolling. They listen to 2 seconds scroll, listen to 2 seconds scroll, listen to 15 seconds scroll because it turned out to be something they didn't care about. But you're special, unironically. A lot of the struggle with streaming is trying to engage people who have chronic ADHD the way that YouTube content can do. But you're a special child, Chatty. I hope if you take anything away from today's stream, you pat yourself on the back and you say, I have a better attention span than a YouTube watcher.
Creation and like how the stream like separates the follower from the creator. There's companies like Patreon that are like actively working with this problem and trying to find a solution. It's not the solution. Obviously, the world's more complicated than here's the problem, here's the solution. But it's cool to know that there are companies that are actively working on this problem.
There is so much tension to make for the algorithm. Everywhere we look as creators today, the gravity is just pushing us. It's just pushing us toward making for other reasons. We open up our dashboards and we see these metrics on what success is. Don't let somebody else tell you what you want. I want to say something that matters to somebody.
What is he talking about?
Be true and feel true and have someone else see that and have that person think, yes, I said a thing.
Okay, cool, but how is this relevant to the subject?
So I'm digressing. If you want to learn more about this, I can't recommend enough The Death of the Follower, the talk by Jack Kant. I'll link it below. It's really cool. He can explain it so much better than I can. The point is, when we're watching the daily stream, when we doom scroll, it may feel very dystopian and shallow and fake, and there's a lot of people that are just trying to get the numbers to go up. But it's important to remember that that person is real, and you watching it is real. Most people...
I'm real? No, I'm gonna have to dissociate again. Fuck, he made me self-conscious, and now I have to go back.
People don't want 1 million followers, 5 million followers, and like just want the clout of, you know, being internet famous and doing all this stuff, because then it's just work, honestly. What they really want is just a way to support themselves.
Doom scrolling is for bathroom visits? Stubby legs? I hope you take me into the bathroom. I want to smell it.
While they're making something that they think is funny, that they think is true, and they want to.
You don't truly know a man until you've smelled the smell of his shit.
That is a real thing. We can actually build connections with people with this technology. We can actually learn with this technology. We can actually create with this technology. Somehow this relates to books. We went on a whole fucking... I'm sorry. Finn's bookshelf.
Damn, you really are German. Probably like 15%. Yeah.
We would never read. So we had to clean house. Since then, we took some of those reusable grocery bags and sorted the books into 2 piles. The ones we wanted on the shelf and the ones that we can neatly pack in the basement. Temporarily, of course.
Temporarily, of course. He'll never read that in his fucking life.
Okay, as I was packing this stuff up, I just want everyone in the audience to know that we have not 1, but 2 copies of a very heavy book, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. The same book, the same 2 of the same book that we are probably not going to read. But there's...
When you go to the bookstore in 1 year and you're like, oh, this looks cool, I'll read it someday, and you buy it, and then you go to the bookstore again another 5 years later, it's like, oh, this looks cool, I'll read it sometime.
Difficult to get rid of because we know deep down how important they are. We only have 1 glimpse into everything that's ever written. We only have 1 life to read all that we have time for. So if we don't like something, the best we can hope for is to...
Does it ever bother you to think about all of the things that you want to do while you're alive and how little time you have to get it done? And how you spend a lot of your free time being sad and depressed, or is that just me?
To make it public, make it accessible, so the next person can pick it up and maybe read it and maybe get some truth out of it.
where these come from? What are these?
So
Sorry,
a lot of
too
books that
relatable
we've
for us.
had for many years came from your great-grandparents. Your grandmother's grandfather worked for a paper company, and he traveled all over the world, like around 1910.
A paper
So he
company.
had a lot of books that he collected, and that was one thing.
I didn't
when you
realize that was a
had
thing.
An educated
But it
family,
makes
you
sense.
had
There
a
must
lot of
be a
books
paper
because
company.
You had the resources to have them, and that's where all your information came from too. So the series of Tolstoy books he brought back from England, but some of the interesting things where it's like the events
What
of the Great
should
War,
be
those were
done?
written between World War I and World War II, and there was only the Great Wars. The small ones are your great-grandfather Clark's books that he used in college. So several of them he took Shakespeare poems, and he also was in the theology school because he was a minister. The smaller books were, he would carry them to class. That's kind of neat to think of your great-grandfather being younger than you and walking around.
Cornflakes, thank you for the
Thanks,
2 months.
Lucy. Now I'm depressed thinking about things I won't watch or read. Lucy P. Sweat.
Stop it! I'm sorry. I was too relatable for a second. I'll tone it back. I'll be less relatable. Do you want me to talk about unrelatable things? I haven't showered in 4 days, but I'm showering after this stream. That's unrelatable, right? Because you shower like every day, don't you? Yeah, NyQuil, thank you so much for the 5 months. I appreciate it. Blah, 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 blah.
Campus carrying those books.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
They would write in them too.
Oh, wow.
They made notes in them.
What is that?
Characteristics of W's poetry.
Need to get number... Wait.
Oh my god, how do you read that?
Multiple
languages?
Language?
Of...
Something. We
What the fuck?
held
Against...
He writes like shit.
Untaming the treatment of character. It was very difficult to understand his writing.
See? Even they're struggling.
A lot messier.
Sandy, I never have to worry about people reading my journals just because I can barely read my own handwriting.
You can't read your own handwriting.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, his handwriting got worse and worse. So he typed everything. Like I'd get letters from him and they'd be typed. On a...
Click, 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 click. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because there are other books that we didn't keep that I wish we did. Grandpa was, he was a minister. So, there was a time when he was writing a sermon every Sunday, and he kept them. And I don't know what happened to them.
Damn.
You know, and for a long time it's weird because he also, in college, he wrote me a letter every month. And I really cherish the letters. I don't know what I did with them. I don't know. Some paper you save and some you get rid of.
It's hard to recognize in the moment what's important and what's not important.
Yeah, that's true. And maybe that's one of the things with the books. Maybe that's why we have held on to the books for that long, because they look important. They're memories, too. Like, I look and I can see his writing, and I remember that. Stuff fades over time.
That's such a cute little mailbox, too.
Too, so
is that what that is?
Still need to have them.
Yeah.
So.
Cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Cool, thanks. Thanks. Yeah, cool. Yeah, cool, thanks. Yeah. Why are you talking to them like it's a person that you contacted for like a fucking collab and nothing more? This reminds me of how there's a bunch of books at my grandma's house that none of us have ever used, namely some encyclopedias, but because my grandpa used them, she's never thrown them away. It's kind of sweet and sad at the same time. You know what they call that? Bittersweet. There's literally a word for that, Lucy. Oh my god, you're stupid. 19 examples of clickbait from the pre-internet days. Let this be a little bit of emotional whiplash so we can go back to being non-relatable.
All right, so what I want you to do here is imagine for a second that
I'm imagining.
I uploaded a video with the title Prince of Wales Murdered. And then you clicked on that video, and this is what played.
All right, listen up, everybody. I just woke up, but there's big news. The Prince of Wales murdered 2 deer while hunting. Also, while you're here, buy these liver pills. Follow the link in the description.
No fucking way, bro.
They'll cure your constipation.
That would be a pretty ridiculous example of YouTube clickbait, right? But check this out. That little scenario that I just outlined for you there is pretty much an exact modern recreation.
Damn, they were shameless
of a
back then.
100% real newspaper advertisement from 1900. Take a look at this. Prince of Wales murdered. 50 partridges well hunted. But more than double that number of people are killed daily by impure drugs.
Oh my god.
So buy X-ray liver tablets and cure your chronic constipation.
Oh my god,
although
rage
clickbait
bait.
is a modern word, the basic concept has been around forever. All throughout the pages of history, you can find journalists or businesses using misleading and sensationalist marketing to try and draw in prospective customers. And so today,
Were those liver tablets just fiber?
Favorite examples. Well,
isn't the liver literally just like made of pure steel titanium? Why the fuck would you need a pill to make it better? If you need a pill to make it better, it's over.
Welcome to the world of historic clickbait.
A seatbelt is no good. Agree! Unless installed in your automobile. Oh my god! God
Let's
damn
get
it!
started with one of the strangest newspaper advertisements that you'll ever see. Let's say that you're a woman flipping through an issue of the Atlanta Journal back in May of 1930 when you notice a very strange-looking picture in the corner of the page.
Is that censored?
There's a young woman there laying in bed looking real sick with a big bolded caption that reads, "Women are especially susceptible, doctors say."
What?
So you might see that and think, well, golly,
To
I
menopause?
better keep reading and figure out what this mystery illness is. So your eyes continue to drift downward, and you find out that you, as a woman, are especially susceptible to troubles caused by harsh, non-absorbent toilet tissue. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're kinda... No one ever believes me when I say that no two-ply, no life. But it's really important.
That woman is laying there sick in bed because she
got an infection because she wiped from back to front like an idiot.
Scott's Tissues. And the underlying point here is supposed to be that using a lesser brand of toilet paper might lead you to develop some kind of unspecified
This is literally no. I can actually believe this. Because as far as I'm aware, a lot of guys, when they piss, they don't dab their dick to get rid of the droplet, do they? They shake it out, and then they're like, oh, that's good enough. And then they just put it back in their trousers. But women always have to wipe. No matter what, 24/7, women have to wipe. Otherwise, they're just gonna be fucking having piss all over themselves. So they have to fucking wipe it. Which means that if you have shitty toilet paper, you're a lot more likely to get like maybe a UTI then if it's like not good. Maybe.
And what's really funny is that this isn't even a standalone ad. Scott's actually ran an entire campaign on the back of this message. Like, check these out. This poor woman is just one of 10 million who are suffering from troubles caused or aggravated by harsh toilet
This woman
tissue.
has a UTI.
And here we have a couple of real respectable looking doctors discussing the dangers
What the
of
fuck? People wipe their
toilet
dicks? Apparently a lot of people in here do.
tissue illness. And lastly, this is probably the strangest one out of the whole batch. We got a doctor reaching for some medical instruments with the caption, "Often the only relief from toilet tissue illness." So
He's cutting
you
off
better
the
pick
dick.
the right brand of toilet paper or you're gonna need surgery. All right, let's move on to another classic example of headline trickery. This article promises information on a serious accident. But then if you keep reading, what it actually says is a distinguished guest was being shown about our city in a new automobile when suddenly the motor stopped. After making a thorough examination, they discovered that they were out of gasoline.
What?
This embarrassment could have been avoided if you would always think of Mr. Toko and stop at his new filling station. So
This isn't even good. This is a horrible one. This one's
blatantly
awful.
Pretending to be a legitimate article on a severe accident when in reality it's just an ad for
They
a gas
hired their cousin
This next one
on the
is
cheap
just
for that ad.
so ridiculously dishonest that it's hard to even believe. This is a passage from an article from 1925 about Harry Houdini, the famous magician from the
Harry
early 20th
Houdini.
century. The article is all about how Houdini has started teaching classes at the New York Police Department on how to expose people who are pretending to be mystics and spiritualists and mediums. And the entire point of the classes is basically supposed to be to
scam.
warn the police against allowing the supernatural to influence their investigations. Like
What?
Houdini tells his students that absolutely nobody on earth has superhuman powers and that they, as police officers, should remain grounded in reality and
What?
avoid the influence of fake magic and trickery and ghost stories. And so What was the headline that the newspaper chose to represent this story? A school to teach police how to fight ghosts, complete with a drawing of a cop trying to battle
Just as
a ghost
Houdini
with
would
a
have wanted it. Wait, that looks so cool though. That looks so cool. Okay, the artist kind of went hard. The artist went hard though. The artist fucking understood the assignment. The artist was like, say no more.
Was actually about. Like, this headline and drawing combo could not be a worse representation of the actual content.
But it looks
of the
so
article.
cool. It's aura
Okay,
farming.
so up until this point, we've mostly been talking about clickbait that's extreme or misleading in order to grab your attention, right? But that is far from the only genre of clickbait. Another very common type is the sort of mystery clickbait. You know, when people are like, you won't believe what I found in this cabinet, or the video they didn't
You won't
want
believe
me
why
to
Lucy
make,
Pyre
or
got banned.
famous actor said what about who, like that kind of thing, right?
Lucy
it probably
Pyre
won't
said
surprise
what
you that
about
that isn't
Noomi?
really anything new either. Like, check this
I'm
out.
practicing.
Here is an issue of Liberty magazine from November of 1950. And just look at that first tagline. The article we were afraid to print. That is some grade A clickbait right there. The actual article is about how during the first few months of the Korean War, a lot of consumers engaged in panic buying goods, and a lot of businesses raised their prices trying to make a quick buck. The author of the article thought that was
What in the hell is the matter with us Americans? I think this is good clickbait.
real un-American and unbecoming of a country that's going through its first big test as leaders of the world.
First big
and so they wrote this
test.
story to try and communicate their point of view. And according to a little disclaimer at the top of the page, the reason the magazine was afraid to print the article was because no editor in his right mind willingly attacks his readers, which of course is just a half-hearted and weak attempt to justify slapping such a heavy-handed and sensationalist tagline on a mostly
Is it though? Is it though? There's tons of companies that are like piss afraid of upsetting their customer base no matter what, and wouldn't publish certain things if they felt even slightly like it could lose them a singular customer.
benign article. Next up is one that I've actually mentioned before in a previous video, but it just fits the theme so well that I had to bring it up again here. Check out this advertisement that a store named Gamble's ran in newspapers back in 1960.
The earliest
We're having
kick stream.
a 100th anniversary sale, it says. Which, if you're just flipping through the newspaper, that's going to sound like a pretty big deal, right? But then, if you keep reading, you'll learn that it's actually only the 35th anniversary of
What? Then why are we
Gamble's.
lying?
It's just that they're not sure if the store is going to be around for their 100th anniversary. So they might as well just go ahead and have their 100th.
In the year 2025, we are not likely to be here. Chatty, look it up. Chatty, go run. Chatty, find out. Is it still there? Is it still there? Did the clickbait work? Is it celebrating its 100th anniversary? Gamble's
anniversary sale right now instead. Buy our pool and you get a free blonde.
A free blonde, hot.
Wig, of course. Here's
Shut
another
up.
one that I found in a magazine. World War II magazine from September of 1988 features a full-page ad that says, "Strange
What
advice
to do when the Russians come? Should you ban them? Wait, am I being un-American letting them sit here?
from the authors. Burn this book." The book in question is titled What to Do When the Russians Come, a survivor's guide. And the point of the book is to teach you what to do if the peaceniks get their way and Russia ever...
A Russian makes eye contact with me, and then, without wasting a second, they throw a fucking bowl of boiling hot borscht at my face, but I parry it, and I counter them, and I say, "Das Vidanya, bitch," and then I kick them in the stomach, and they double over.
does take over. The advertisement never explicitly says why you should burn the book, but I guess the implication is supposed to be that
Because if the Russians know,
if the
they'll
Soviets ever
kill
actually
you.
do take over and they catch you with that survivor's guide, then you're going to be in deep trouble. Oh,
So
no.
true.
Watch out. There's a grave robber in town.
Do you think there's like some really old people out there in a nursing home who are just like extremely racist against Russians?
And that great.
And then he looks at his nurse and he says, "Did you say your name was Anya?" And she says, "Anna, sir."
Grave robber is Dr.
Anna.
Bigelow, whose positive cure robs thousands of graves by saving the lives of sick people before they even get the chance to die. All right, I don't know if this next one exactly qualifies as clickbait, but it's just such a funny ad that I want to include it anyway. In 1910, a newspaper from Pittsburgh printed an ad that reads, "Fine furs and handsome suits go
First
hand
furry
in
ad.
hand
First
with
furry ad.
bandits."
Holy shit.
This is the accompanying
Holy
picture
shit, it's
for
literally
that
first
ad.
furry!
Just look at
It's
that.
the
They're going hand in
furry
hand.
ad!
Postmaster robbed
Oh my god,
of all comfort because he dealt with liver
Based.
disease for 20 years. But now he's taking electric bitters and everything's just fine. All right, so this next one is just so mind-boggling that I really don't even know how to introduce it. Like, just look at this. So during the height of the Vietnam War, a New York company called Satori started selling captured Viet
Satori?
Cong sandals. The implication obviously
Oh.
being that these were sandals taken from real
That's
Vietnamese people who
crazy.
were captured during the war.
Jesus
But if you actually
Christ.
read through the advertisement, you'll learn that it's just the design of the enemy sandals that was captured.
I can't believe that they thought it would be a plus to like advertise it that way. Like, hey, we captured these people. We fucking stole their shoes. We stole their fucking shoes. You want to buy a
by the
pair?
company's style scouts. A badly burned girl is quickly out of pain if Buckland's arnica salve is applied promptly. Next up, in 1950, a little boy from Newark, New Jersey was rushed to the hospital because he swallowed 2 little heart ornaments that had fallen off his
What?
sister's bracelet. And the
What?
headline that the newspaper ran for the story was, "Boy had 3 hearts." All right, everybody, the fun.
I like that one. I don't know. I like that one. I think it's goofy. It has whimsy, okay? It has whimsy.
Over. I have a very serious question for you. Is your washroom breeding Bolsheviks? This is another one from good old Scott
Is your stream hosting Bolsheviks?
Tissue, the same company that brought us the toilet tissue illness from earlier. The pitch for this ridiculous ad is that a poorly equipped washroom will inevitably lead to resentment from your employees, and before long, you'll have a whole office of
The revolution.
communists on your hands.
Oh my
Okay,
god.
I'm feeling like it's
Me when my toilets are so fucking bad, they turned my American workers into commies.
just about time to wrap up this video, so how about we close out with probably the most transparently deceptive headline that I have ever seen. Just look at this. 1,000 cats wanted, okay?
Oh.
The Erie Clothing Company do not want cats, but want you to see their mammoth stock of fine clothing. So
Oh my god. They didn't even try. They were just like, I don't know. Let's say something to get their attention and then just tell them we lied.
just completely lying about wanting 1,000
I'm sorry, I lied.
cats and nakedly admitting that they're just making up a ridiculous and provocative headline to grab your attention so you'll come and read about
1,000
their
cat girls
clothes. Like,
wanted? Not
it
clickbait.
Truly
Not
does
clickbait.
not get any more clickbait than that. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. These guys' videos with like all the old shit just reminds me that time truly is a line. And you've been waiting for it. The sequel to a series that should have died ages ago. Cars 4 featuring Lucy. Oh my god, me? Oh my god, it looks like me! Not the fucking Gamer Subs sponsor! Not the Gamer Subs tramp stamp! No! Oh my god. No way. Chatty, it's me in the Cars verse. Would you put it in my exhaust pipe? 600 pounds horsepower. True. Truing. Truing. Look at my face. It's so. This is the face that my car is making. Stare. Stare. Okay, this one is body swapped. What the fuck is this?
Yo, boy, and today we're here.
What the fuck? Oh, okay. I see the premise. It's come to me.
You're me.
And I'm you.
We swap bodies.
The lush. The dog! No, not the dog! Not the dog! Why? Chatty, why? No, Chatty! No, Chatty, not the dog! What would you do, Lucy? I'd just touch it first. I'd just touch it first, you know? I'd just check it out first. Like, I'm not gonna grab the dog immediately. Like, chill. Chill. You gotta start slow. What the fuck is this? Average sub-general conversation. God damn it. Stop! Why are they speaking? What is this language? No one cares what the mods are up to, honestly. Appa! Appa!
뭐 먹을까요?
It's me!
식사는 스시 어떠세요?
Aww.
제가 좋은데 합니다.
Aww.
밥 말고 술 어때요?
예?
It's so cute!
말술입니다.
Aww. Aww. This is what happens to a man when he is cucked. When he is a moderator, he is cucked, and he is not allowed to be with the Lucy, meaning that Chatty is with me while they argue because they have nothing left to their defenses, nothing left for them to do except argue endlessly in the fucking Discord. Disgusting. Look at how they behave. They are lesser men, not even people compared to you, Chatty. Look at you. Look what a Chad you are. In the suit and... Wait, you don't have a tie. With your lanyard and your cute little anime face. You're adorable. You're perfect. Oh my god, you're so much more than they could ever be. Okay. I don't know which one to watch, but actually, I lied. I think I know which one to watch. It's this one, Armpits Explained.
Hello, students. My name is Professor Lando, and in today's lecture, we are going to learn about armpits.
Armpits!
So, we've covered a myriad of topics here at the Lando Institute of Guidance, Maturity, and Academics, and these topics have ranged greatly in their level of depravity. And so, students, you might be wondering, why is it that today we're going over something so mundane, hidden behind the most unassuming
Shut the fuck up. Armpits are not mundane, and they are actually underrated as hell.
things, like armpits? The community at large continues to push the boundaries of what is considered, how would you say, desirable, what is considered an object of desire, an object
I'm gonna show my
of
armpits
lust.
for this
And
whole
in
video.
layman's terms, what I'm saying exactly is that people out there find armpits attractive. Well, first off, I don't
As
want
they
to make any
should.
assumptions on the educational level here in this classroom right now. So why don't we start with something simple? What is an armpit?
It's the pit of the arm. Why do we need to explain this?
Okay, so if you don't know, students,
Oh.
the armpit is going to be the part of the body
God
located
damn.
in this general area. Here you go. If you're having trouble
Damn.
seeing that
You
right
know
there.
he... Bro, Lando, I didn't need to know this much about the shit that you do by yourself alone, but the way that you drew Rouge here, holy shit.
For the students in the back, that is what we are talking about when we refer to the armpit.
The
so
lines.
just know that going forward for the usage of this lecture, that is what we in fact are referring to. So, students, you might be looking
Yes.
at my drawing here, my educational diagram.
And thinking that
You might
you're
be thinking to
furry.
yourself, Professor Lando, that seems a little Not quite right. That is maybe a little naughty, you might be thinking. And to that,
I don't think that at all. In fact, I'm more appalled that your tastes are completely normal and normy, honestly, as a furry.
They are already getting to you. Who's they? Well, that's what this lecture is going to be about.
They again?
I would like to say
They're back.
That what I see is a fully clothed woman, beautiful woman.
He's so furry now that he's talking about her like she's a human being.
That woman, but a fully clothed one nonetheless. And no explicit body part is being exposed.
You've given her not even a camel toe, that's a fucking camel hoof.
So when you ask, Professor Lando, is that allowed? Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? The premise of this lecture hinges on the fact
Why does he just keep adding details?
that armpits are indeed on the rise in terms of popularity. And we can take a look at these examples in modern media to show what I'm talking about.
Not the
Right,
fucking
students, Here
hair.
you can see a compilation of very intentional pit showcasing in mainstream media.
Yeah, there's pitch showcasing, but honestly, they could have given her way more definition here.
All right, students, here you can see a compilation of very intentional pit
Yelan can get
showcasing
it.
in mainstream media. The market continuously adapts to the taste of the consumer. Here we see an undeniable shift towards that, with armpits being
Not
showcased
enough
more
detail, not
as
enough
the
detail.
demand for armpits increases. Thus,
This one's good, this
being
one's peak.
recognized and served by the companies.
All right, students, I almost forgot.
That one was the best
but
one.
Before we continue with the rest of the lecture, I want to go over our next homework assignment. You're going to need to check out Silver and Blood Requiem.
Oh my god, we're getting advertised to, Chatty. We're getting advertised to. I can't believe it. They want us to spend money on gacha. Oh my god, can you imagine if like in real life your professor just started fucking advertising a gacha game to you? And he's like, so if you guys will get out your phones, and if you could download, I've got this QR code, I put it up here on the board.
Much to Skystone Games and to Silver and Blood Requiem for sponsoring today's lecture. Let's get back to class with a Ligma University exclusive interview with one of these twisted individuals that finds armpits attractive.
Twisted? Yeah, thank you for anonymizing it. I would say it with my whole chest though. Sorry, but I'm built different. I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed. This is my least shameful fetish, by the way. My least shameful one.
Okay, well, first off, I wanted to thank
The way
you
he
for,
filmed it, not the
joining us
filter.
and agreeing to partake in this interview.
The dark red filter.
And tell people about this experience. So yeah, it's no problem at all.
So can you just, how did this all start?
Feels familiar.
I've liked armpits ever since I could remember, really. Ever since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I played this game. Are you familiar with Sonic the Hedgehog?
Vaguely.
That's sick.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they don't wear shirts, a lot of them, and... Sorry.
Sorry.
No, we can keep going.
This is so unprofessional. Why would you call the person you're interviewing disgusting? He needs to have his license revoked.
You know, I haven't spoken to my family in years.
That must have been hard.
It's been hard, but you know, this
Yeah,
is
it's
the life
been
I
hard.
chose to be into armpits.
Hasn't stopped being hard.
Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
That's the sort of thing with
Chatty, did you know that advertising the side effects of a medicine can actually be a plus? For example, think about Viagra. You know how they had that whole thing where it was like, blah, 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 blah. If you have an erection that lasts over 2 hours, make sure to see your doctor. And now, you might think that's a bad thing, but if you have erectile dysfunction, do you know what the person with erectile dysfunction hears when they say that? I can have an erection for 4 hours? And it actually drives sales.
with these kinds of things. I mean, you don't really plan to be into armpits.
I don't know why I brought that up.
But then you find yourself
It came back to me.
alone at night and just... Sorry. No.
Why does the guy he's interviewing look like him? What do you mean? What? You sound like a conspiracy theorist.
If I could stop, I would.
I do hope you can get the help you need, but I do appreciate
Next, you're gonna
you
say
giving
that the
us your
government
time
is
and
spying on us.
coming on here to tell the world about your affliction.
I just think it's so hot.
Oh, yeah, he's right. Hiplarman Piplar, welcome. This person passed away shortly after this interview. It was reported that he suffocated while buried face deep in some pit. No foul play is suspected. That's the way you want to go, is it not?
These people live among us, and it's our duty to weed them out, identify them, and make sure that we don't fall into the same fate that they have unfortunately found themselves in.
You envy him. You wish to be him.
So, you might be wondering, Professor Lando, now that I know that there are malicious actors out there trying to convince me, an innocent
Is that a
person,
femboy in the
to be
background?
attracted to armpits of all things.
And a femboy in the
what can I
foreground, I
do
guess.
to protect myself? Well, I have a diagram for you. This is the Professor Lando diagram of
Armpit complexity. Oh, I'm
Memorize what
diving
about to
in.
show
I'm
you,
hopping
and
in.
You'll be well equipped to face the dangers of armpits online. So first off, we have level 1.
Okay,
So
okay.
what are we talking about when we say armpit complexity? Well,
Level 1 is gonna be
namely,
nothing.
specifically, the amount of detail present in a depiction of armpits online. And first we have level 1, safe. As you can see here in this diagram, this depiction of an armpit, there are no lines drawn. This is something akin to like a cartoon or like a stick figure
cowardly.
drawing almost. You can see there's no indication.
That's not
of
what that
any
body
sort of
part looks like. Fresh
complexity
up on
or
your
detail
anatomy.
here. So here at level 1, you can
Ice
be
Heat
confident
Jelly,
that you
welcome,
are
hi.
safe. Level 2. Here in level 2, you're going to see the emergence
Of the line.
of a line. We are seeing the addition of this complexity here on a very basic level. Perhaps this is an artist's depiction of depth.
Not great,
there. They
but at
want to
least you
imply
put a
that, yes, that
you
is an
put a little
armpit,
effort
and there is
in.
a sort of a pit, obviously, a depth there. And I'm simply trying to convey to you my artistic merit in being able to depict said
right.
body part.
Jade,
And
welcome.
So here at level 2, we are increasing the complexity, but still safe. Next up, we have level 3. Here we see the complexity increase with the addition of another line, perhaps 2. We are officially in dangerous territory, where you can't be exactly sure who are your friends and who are your enemies. Here, what does that mean? Here we see the increase in complexity with the armpits. And I guess the question you really have to ask yourself is, why? Why are these lines added, and are they necessary?
You
And
fucking
here,
know
I would
why.
say that although suspect territory, you can't be exactly sure if you're in the danger zone or not, because, you know, maybe this is just simply
No!
an
You
attempt.
put this much detail in it, you're an armpit fetishist whether you like it or not. Because most people are so disgusted by armpits. Because they're all, as where sweat goes, ew, it's nasty, ew, it's stinky. So disgusted by armpits that they refuse to learn what it looks like and how to draw it. So if you spend enough time staring at an anime girl's armpit drawn by an armpit enjoyer to learn how to draw it, you too have become one of them in the process.
Into detail, wanting to be more specific and more perhaps anatomically correct. So I would say proceed with caution here at level 3, but don't assume you're safe. However, with the next level,
Oh God.
level 4. Here at level 4,
Sweat!
we see the complexity of the armpit reach completely unnecessary levels, with so many lines and creases being added.
I'm sorry, this is the level where they're literally just drawing a pussy in the armpit, basically.
Like you were trying to tell the age of a tree. This is completely absurd. Maybe you'll even see a bit of that freshly shaven razor burn, or perhaps some musk coming off of the armpit.
Sweat, the little sweat drops?
Depict maybe some heat emanating off of it. Maybe you got some sweat beads there. Yeah. Or maybe you can even.
Madoka, this is just porn? I think you're into armpits, bro. I think you're into
Level
armpits.
4, that's when we've completely gone off the deep end, and I would turn the other way. So the question is why? What exactly is the mechanism driving the popularity of armpits? And that mechanism is
Power creep.
If you play
No!
competitive trading card games, you might be familiar with the concept. The same thing happens when it comes to explicit body parts and desire. Let's go back in time. Let's go back and take a look at what people considered attractive. Many years ago, the thought of seeing someone's ankle was scandalous. To see someone's...
Chatty, are my ankles doing it for you right now? Any ankle guys in the chat right now?
Little bit of skin showing because a dress was a little too short
Ankle
was considered perhaps explicit, lustful even. Of course, nowadays we see something like this
It does
and think,
feel
well, that's ridiculous.
awfully
So
inappropriate.
that's where we're starting. The bar is
See,
low.
Cody, welcome.
But over time, people got used to the ankle, right? So we have to push the boundaries to get that same rush that we used to feel when looking at an ankle. So what started as an ankle might evolve to thighs and thigh highs.
Whoa, whoa, whoa! How do you go from ankle to thigh? Wouldn't it stand to reason that it would be the calves first?
That little bit of squish.
You made a big ass leap.
Just below the skirt. See, our senses are getting dulled. We get used to the things we see and we require more activation of that little thing in the back of our brains. Ankles weren't enough. Thighs eventually weren't enough. Now this is something mundane. This is something you might see me wearing at the mall, or I don't know.
Right.
But eventually we need to go even further beyond. And so we start liking things like wearing diapers.
What?
It's a net.
This is like one of those charts where it's like step 1, buy an egg. Step 2, crack the egg. Step 3, question mark, question mark, question mark. Step 4, become president of the United States. Like this, this is that level.
Oh. No, yeah, that's gross. Just kidding. Just kidding. Stupid. Finding yourselves being attracted to...
A classic. Oh my god, expertly maneuvered. Chatty, what he did was he drew diapers so that you would be disgusted, and then when he takes it back and says, I was just kidding, and he shows you the armpit, you're like, oh, that's not as bad, so it's okay. He scammed you. He scammed you into accepting armpits even though you don't. But if you don't accept armpits, that's because you're cringe.
Armpits of all things. God. All right, students, so in conclusion, I think we've learned that, yes, there are people out there that see armpits as objects of lust, of desire. And it's sick and it's twisted. And I would say to you, don't let these troubled individuals convince you that you should not draw armpits or not post a selfie, that you should be embarrassed and or ashamed of such a
Put those arms up, ladies.
body part. It's just an armpit, right? So I would
It's
say
just an armpit.
Just keep posting them.
Just an armpit.
Or what have you, because nothing's wrong with an armpit. It's just a normal body.
This is the new, hey, do you have a picture of like your feet? Haha, I just think it would be silly and funny if you like just like posted a picture of your feet, haha. Especially if you like painted your toenails like a goofy color, like hot pink or something like that. I think, yeah, and then you like took a picture from the back as well so we could see your soles. And it'd be like cute if you like scrunched them up so we could see all the wrinkles on the back of your foot. It'd be really funny.
Ridiculous, right? That people are even attracted to this normal body part. It's crazy to me. You know, what's next? What are people going to be into next? It's crazy to me.
I didn't ask for all that.
Yeah, I don't know.
I didn't ask for all that. Nah, 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 nah. Nah, 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 nah. I can't believe it, Chatty. I have a question for everyone here. How many of you like armpits? Press 1 to be an armpit enjoyer. Press 2 to be wrong, uneducated, and dumb, and insipid and dull. Look at all of those ones! I didn't bias the answer at all. I didn't bias the answer at all. If you don't like them now, you will later, trust me. If you don't like them now, you just have to wait. You will learn to like them. You will be mind broken into liking armpits. Check these out. They're pretty good. They're pretty good. I like the detail. I like everything about armpits. Although, I don't know, would I say it's like on the full-on level of being a fetish?
Show me
I
them
don't know.
toes.
It's a mystery. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Can you wait? Can you fucking wait? Can you give me a second? Can you give me a fucking second to appreciate armpits before you start talking about feet? Not everything is about feet. Not everything is yours. You fucking feet fetish assholes. You get everything. You are so spoiled. People are always talking about you, always posting content for you. You've had enough. Talk about armpits for once. Talk about fucking armpits. You are so fucking infuriating. Fucking infuriating. I swear to God, man. Holy shit. Anyway, I'm gonna raid Grape. She's playing Liza P. And there's a lot of liars in this chat today. I can smell it. I can smell it in the air. I can sense all of your lies. The strongest lie of all being that some of you don't like pits. Do you really believe it? I ask you, Chatty, today, do you really believe that there are some of you who don't enjoy a nice armpit?
Yay,
Wouldn't
and
you have left
Lucy
already?
toes Lucy P. lick.
Whatever, dude. Not even armpit. He won't even say I want to lick armpit. I'm offering to be objectified. I'm giving you permission to objectify me, and you won't even take it. This is fucking crazy. You understand how insane you sound, right? You understand how stupid you are? It's okay, I forgive you. I'm gonna mind break you into liking all the same things that I do, Chatty. If you don't like it now, you will later. You'll learn. I'll teach you. I am very patient, and I can wait as long as it takes. I'll be here forever, by your side, teaching you to become more and more disgusting. Also, Syncbait, thank you for the 5 gift subs. I appreciate it, blah, blah. And thank you for the 333, I appreciate it. I think it was winter, right? If I'm not blind, thank you very much, thank you. For the whole Lucy yap, not just a bit. Aw, he likes the sound of my voice. That'll fade. That'll fade. What once entertained you will become grating and annoying until you want to grab me and choke me and violently swing my head against the headboard, all according to my keikaku. I love seeing you get irritated. I love seeing your rage. I hope that one day you'll take it out on me, lovingly, in bed. Anyway, I'm just joking, Chatty. Woo, we're not toxic. Mwah! I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye.